Southend lineup shortly. Still doesn't start. Eventually, referee gets the game underway, and that being Paul Howard. McAllister gets the ball back. I think it's played down the left-hand side. Finds Biabu, who finds Mendy. They're turning a press on, though, our Southend. But it's passed round through Innes. Goes over the top, looking for McAllister. Can't be found first time, and Southend easily deal with it, going with boys up. Colin Andring, Neddy, the goalkeeper for Southend. Innes gets dispossessed and Southend play it through. The offside flag stays down against Dallas. He drives towards the penalty area, drives it across goal, cut in and saved from the near post from Eisted's shins. Ryan Innes that's a bit exposed then, as Marine, he should have done a bit more with that, should Southend.
100%, only 35 seconds gone there when Dallas broke down the left. He actually should do better, shouldn't he, with the pullback? He gets in a really good position, maybe caught in two minds as to what to do, but it was kind of a nothing ball in the end, quite easy for Harry Eisted to deal with, but still danger because Southend have a corner. Yeah, their first corner, of course. Danger there for Forest Green. Right, Dallas have done a lot more with the cutback. He got so close to goal, just hit Eisted on his near post. Forest Green, every man back defending this early corner. Referee's keeping an eye on things on the edge of the box, played towards the far post. Mendy clears on that far post. Another shot goes in, blocked by McAllister, hoops up into the air there, and Forest Green needs to get rid of it. And it might go for another corner actually, unless Eisted can keep it on. It wasn't the best ball back to him. I think Mendy maybe just tried to clear it, but he had a bit of a 50p header and went off for a bit of a nothing corner on the other side. Yeah, I think Mendy's tried to clear that too smart there. He's almost tried to backheel it away from danger, and in the end cost his team quite a cheap corner, because I think it probably would have just ran through to Harry Eisted to gather it. Done, but he got a touch on, I guess is important. So Southend's second corner in two. The first one was decent, dropped under the far post. Unfortunately, I haven't got anyone this time round. Referee's keeping an eye on the pushing and shoving. You know, it's going to go right into the 6-yard box. That's where the majority of the Southend players are. It does just that. It's swinging and dangerous, and it's headed in! It's headed in Southend, exactly where we thought it would be. Went towards the far post. Headed in by Golding. Forest Green couldn't hack it away. And after just 2 minutes, they find themselves 1-0 down. Well, an absolutely disastrous start really for Forest Green. Probably just from the get-go, really. That chance with Dallas. Then the cheap corner given away, and Southend score from it. I tell you what, though, the ball in is magnificent, isn't it, from the Southend player? Left-footed towards the far post. Lots of whip on it, really difficult to defend. The bodies were just piling in at the back post, but disappointing for Forest Green, a poor start. Disappointing to concede from a set piece with big Ryan Innes back in the side as well. Poor all round, you're right, Laurie. Poor to give the corner away. But we said the back post, there's no one on there. The previous corner, Mendy cleared off the line of the back post. The play was just in, it was no one on the back post, and that's exactly where it went. I know it's a bit old school, putting someone on the front and near post would have dealt with that, but Golding popped up, headed it clone, and that was poor from Forest Green. I know it was a bit of a sloppy corner to give away, but they really should have dealt with that. It's a warning sign as well, because any more corners like that are going to be really difficult to deal with. Plenty of pace on them, width towards the back post, and if Southend crowd bodies around the back, they're going to get to them more times than they're not. It's one of those frustrating things in football. You've been all the training in all week on the training ground. You come up overnight, as Innes doesn't win that header. Thankfully it goes into Eisted's hands in the penalty area. Stay overnight, get the trip, go on the coach, practice everything during the week, and within 90 seconds you can see from a corner, a sloppy one as well. It's all uphill from there. Exactly what we were talking about as well, Billy, in the respect that you don't want to concede an early goal here with 8,500 in the house. That's not what you want to do at all. You want to start, you actually want to quieten the crowd down straight away, don't you? But instead, Southend, even though they've been going through a bit of a rough spell recently, they're now going to be right behind it, and that can make it a difficult afternoon for Forest Green. Yeah, you're right. They've certainly found their voices early on. Innes clears, not the most convincing clearances though, and Knowles plays it further upfield, looking for Mello. It goes back to the Southend keeper, Ologendi. Goes upfield, Ryan Innes heads it powerfully forward, finds McAllister, heads it back to Ahmed. Looking for Mellor. Half calls a handball as it went up and hit Golding. And Forest Green 1-0 down, and it's just all uphill. We talked about how important the early goal is, and they got the rarity of doing that at home last Saturday and against Gateshead. To concede early on from a set piece as well. It's poor from Forest Green. Eister goes to the middle, finds Knowles intelligently, plays it looking for Mellor, to poor ball to Mellor though, and goes back to the keeper, who's rushes his clearance, goes off for a Forest Green throw. Good play actually from Harry Eister, deliberately hit it powerful and low.
Yeah, really good piece of distribution, wasn't it? And if the ball around the corner had just been a little bit more precise from Knowles, then Damani Mellor could have had a run at goal, but Eistead really starting the attack there with a low ball forward.
Mendy putting a ball in towards Mellor, who's so far looking a bit isolated, playing up front by himself. Mendy with the header, finding Mellor, got the flick on them, but he couldn't find Woku, who's in front of him. Southend go down their left, Forest Green's right. It should go off for a goal kick, and that's exactly what Eistead lets it go towards. The game doesn't really feel like it started, but it's only 5.5 minutes gone. But it is Southend 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. And we're looking for Savage. He's somewhere in the director's box near us, but I'm sure these 8,500 plus Southend fans would love to remind Savage or ask him what is the score. Forest Green are 1-0 down already here at Roots Hall, and Carney with an interesting clearance finds Mendy fortuitously, you've got to say, and Forest can go up the left. Roku crosses the halfway line. Knowles didn't want it there, and Southend pounce onto it and pushing men forward. You've got to keep an eye on Hopper in the middle, who gets it, plays to the left hand side. Southend are going forward, they've overloaded the left hand side, they've got a chance of boys in the box now, plays it across goal, puts Ahmed on his backside, looks at a shooting position. He does do that, and it's well blocked from Campbell off for a corner. He had nothing but shooting on his mind then, did Gubbins. And he had a decent chance with it.
Yeah, they looked exposed again, Forest Green, didn't they? Lots of space in midfield. I think that then made Ryan Innes come out towards the ball, and then there was space in behind, so real problems there. And then Boys cutting in onto his right foot, and Ahmed just slipped, didn't he, which allowed Boys a shot at goal. But no doubt that Southend have started the better here.
Boys ex-Forest Green, third corner from Southend. They scored from the previous one. Forest Green have got Mendy on the far post this time, but the previous two, the first one they looked vulnerable, cleared off the far post. The one after that Southend scored from. With Ryan Innes, you expect things just to be a bit more sure back there. They do practice a lot on set pieces. They did at one point have a defensive set piece coach at Forest Green. It's congested in the 6-yard box. You know it's going to be going in there. Played into that far post. Eistead clears, and Forest Green clear further with Biabu. They need to get rid though, and Ahmed didn't do that. And Southend get the ball back. They want a free kick, and that would have been a penalty if it was given. Not the most convincing of clearances from Ahmed, but Southend still have possession. Boys on the left, looking to go against Ahmed. Good run off the ball on Five Coco towards the far post again. Forest Green through Mendy, clear, and Knowles looks to finish it off, and Forest Green need to get rid. They've got a chance to break here. Mendy looking to find Ginny Biabu, storms across the halfway line. He's got 6 Southend players near him, and no pink, and it's well taken off him. Well, sly tackle from Taylor off four. They throw Southend's way.
He was just running down a cul-de-sac there, Ginny Biabu, wasn't he, which was through no fault of his own. He couldn't really do a lot else. He did have Carl McAllister also breaking down the right hand side, but like you say, probably 5 or 6 Southend bodies within close proximity of Biabu, which made it very difficult for him. But yep, Southend, even when they lose the ball, get working back to win it back quickly.
And the penalty shout on Ahmed, there's certainly a question to be asked there, wasn't there? With Ahmed fouling. Certainly as far as Kevin Mayer was concerned, he was going ballistic, wasn't he, at the fourth official. McAllister finds Knowles down the left hand side. The bounce doesn't work well against him. It holds up, and he thought it was going to bounce in front of him, but it held up and held backwards. Dennis calmly heads it to Carnu. They look good then in Forest Green, going down the wings. They've not had too much of a sniff in the first 9 minutes. Southend 1, Forest Green 0. Golden the goal scorer after 3 minutes. Poor ball from Campbell, looking for Ahmed, straight off for a throw. And well, we said before the game, Laurie, that Forest Green haven't come away with anything from playing against the big teams in the playoff positions, but they've had respectful performances. You've got to say, in the first 9 minutes, not been the most respectful performance of Forest Green.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think, they've gone to places, haven't they, like York and Rochdale, and given decent accounts of themselves without getting the results. But I think Forest Green could really do with the result, couldn't they, just to go into those playoffs with, a little bit of belief that they can actually go to a big ground and win. Carnu's head is poor, and Forest Green managed to clear through Campbell, goes more up than forward, and the sun's come out and causing some problems for the players. And Innes clears upfield, chips it, looking for Ahmed. Southend easily win that 50-50, and the first and the second ball.
Innes clears it straight into the path of Southend again. They go over the top looking for Hopper, but it's ushered out for a goal kick. And Forest Green just need a bit of a talking to. Of course, no Robbie Savage. John McManus down there as well, who's been shouting the technical instructions. Bowen Jr. down also. I don't know what they need to do, Forest Green. Do they need to weather the storm? There's obviously so much more game to go.
Yeah, I think so. I think doing what they're doing now with Harry Isted taking a little bit of time over this goal kick, I really think they need to settle down, because 2-0 becomes a real mountain to climb at a place like this, where I think they just need to stay in the game over the next 10, 15, 20 minutes and try and grow into it.
It's been pressured. Ahmed does well to usher away Hopper. Goes down the wing looking for Mellor. It's charged down by Knowles as the keeper, and he had to get rid of that really quickly. Came out of nowhere, the Tom Knowles, and Ahmed just can't play that simple ball then, and Southend get the ball back. But out of nowhere, Forest Green turning the press on and causing some problems.
Yeah, unfortunate, because he had Knowles and Mellor both running at the goalkeeper.
Here comes Dallas though, in the edge of the penalty box. Southend got numbers in there. Back heels it with a decent ball, and the Boys with a shot goes towards the far post and cleared away from goal. That should have been 2. Boys put it towards the far post, and somehow Forest Green got rid of it.
Yeah, really important intervention by Jilly Boyabu at that back post. Again, Southend finding it far too easy to get in down this side, but really clever play by Dallas, wasn't it, to back heel it. Boys had acres to put a low cross in, but I think Jilly Boyabu was really brave at that back post, put his body on the line, and eventually away from danger.
Forest Green very much on the back foot at the moment. They've switched off and didn't see the man by the corner flag from the throw-in routine. Another ball into the box which Knowles clear. Forest Green every man back. They've invited the pressure. Taylor thinks about the long range effort but controls the ball instead. Finds Boys on the left hand side. Southend look just so comfortable in possession. Forest Green don't really know what to do against them. Southend with a decent crossfield ball from left to right. Intercepted though from Jilibiabu, and Mendy mops up. Got 2 men on him, Mendy, but still has possession. Plays it to McAllister. Didn't want it there because he was being charged down by Boys, but Ahmed comes away with it. Back to McAllister to calm things down. Plays it over top looking for Knowles. Goes down the right hand side. He's got Golding to take the ball off. Back to the keeper, who needs the man on shout as Knowles again puts the pressure on, but Carmen plays it to the right hand side. Well, I guess it shows the story so far in the first 12 minutes. The Forest Green's only chance of just been chasing down the keeper.
Yeah, Tom Knowles will give you that, won't he? Especially playing at the top end of the pitch now rather than at right back.
Forest can win the ball back, just doesn't fall well to Damani Mellor. Right, and this popped up in the opponent's half to win the ball back, and hopefully there's someone slotting in for him. Southend go forward, again confident in possession. Campbell doesn't challenge it, and Southend go down the right to Apo Fulson by the corner flag. Scott Morris puts the ball in. It's a wicked one which Innes heads clear. Scott Morris gets the ball back though, and Forest Green just can't get the ball. It's all Southend at the moment. Taylor on the right hand side, just although they're not even challenging them as the ball gets played in across goal, and Knowles sees off for a corner. What are Forest Green doing?
Way too easy to play through in the middle of the pitch. Way too easy to play through. I think Southend have started really well. Give them credit. I think they look really confident in possession. They look a confident team, which you probably wouldn't expect after they got booed off the other night against Gateshead. But yeah, they are a much better side in these opening nearly 15 minutes here. And yeah, Forest Green really need to make sure this doesn't get away from them.
Southend's 4th corner. They scored from 1. They've caused problems with the other 3. It's so congested in the 6-yard box. Referee's keeping an eye on it as the ball's played towards the far post. Over everyone, off for a goal kick. That's better. Well, better for Forest Green's save. That's more poor from Southend that corner. And Isted with it. We said they need to weather the storm, but they're not even doing that, are they? They just seem to be second to everything. That play down the Southend right, it's gifted the possession and the territory. Biabu back to Isted, being charged down. Played up the line for Damani Mellor, easily out jumped. Kanu controls the ball and finds Biabu on the left. And crosses the halfway line. Back to Woku. Looks for options. Finds Biabu on the left hand side, falls back to Kanu. I guess it says a lot that Woku and Campbell have got better and better Forest Green, haven't featured too much today.
Yeah, you can see Chibi dropping deep now to try and get on the ball. Obviously he's been moved to a number 10 position in recent weeks with a costly slip there as well.
Yes, Forest Green slipping. Roku, the commentator's curse. Late challenge that on Biarbi from Southend. Seems to be, is it Jilly Biarbi down there? Who's wins off a free kick. There's going to be a yellow card. Is it for Scott Morris? I think it is. We got that yellow card for that late challenge.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice one. I think that's the correct call, definitely. I don't think it was any more than that, but yeah, Gilly had just played the ball around the corner and then was looking to sort of progress down the flank, and it was definitely got caught late.
Didn't need any treatment, which frustrates the home fans. So I was going to have a free kick. It's all on the halfway line. High line from Southend here. But Ryan Ennis is back. They're going to play it short, Forest Green. Knowles to take. Forest Green, a goal to 0 down. Biarbi's getting a few boos as he makes his way down the touchline. Forest can play it back to Innes. Takes a touch and wants options. Ahmed's one of them on the right. Heavily pressed though. Runs into the press and Campbell plays it upfield. Asking a lot of Mellor, but keeps well to keep the ball on. 3 players on him though. Ahmed maintains possession. Wins himself a throw. No, goes the other way. In front of the Southend fans. You're right, Laurie. Cover 7/8 of Roots Hall. Forest Green fans camped in the corner. Can't see all of them at the back of the stand. They've not seen too much of the ball, have they? Where Forest Green are shooting towards them in the first half. You can hear them though. They're the ones chanting. Throw down the line. Innes wins it. McAllister keeps the ball on. Plays it over the top, looking for Knowles or Mellor. Can't find either. And Campbell with a high boot. Wins himself a throw. Referee eventually makes the assistant referee give that. I'm seeing the complaints from that. If it could have been a foul to start with.
Yeah, I think it was either a foul or a Southend throw. I'm not sure if Forest Green throw was ever on the cards there.
Well, take it. Mendy forward to McAllister. Plays it to Knowles at the edge of the box. Finds Campbell, edge of the D. Plays towards goal. And it's just a touch too many as the keeper holds it into his hands. Probably the best play from Forest Green. Maybe should have shot at the edge of the box there to Campbell.
Yeah, probably been slightly better since Gilly Boyabu went down, haven't they? Maybe Forest Green, maybe having time to gather their thoughts. Damani Mellor made a smart run just before to win the ball high at the pitch. Forest Green having a little bit more joy in the last couple of minutes.
Gilly Boyabu didn't challenge for that ball over the top. Head in hands some of the backman team in the Forest Green dugout. Ball's got all the way back to the Southend keeper Ondangendi, who plays it upfield. Ahmed wins the header but goes off for a Southend throw. You're right, they've weathered a bit of the storm at Forest Green. Southend are 1-0 up though. Goal after 3 minutes from Golding. Boyes is pointing long for this throw, but he goes short. Roku wins the ball back, might want himself a throw. He'd done just that. Looks to throw it down the line quickly, but it leaves with McAllister, who in turn plays to Ahmed. Biarbi's got space on the left hand side. Forest Green got the ball on the right. Ahmed, I'm sure where to go with this. Roku plays option near, and that's a poor first touch from the young lad on loan from Fulham. With no pressure, goes straight off for a throw. It's not going Forest Green's way so far this game. Savage said about treating it like a playoff semi-final. Well, you don't want to go 1-0 down within the first 3 minutes in a playoff game. That's what they've done here. Governs the throw down the line. Innes, who's getting more into this game, looked a bit rusty in the first 10 minutes. Did play on Tuesday night in the victory in the Gloucestershire Cup against Yate, but just starting to win the 50-50s like expecting to do.
Yeah, you wonder how important that game the other night would have been for Ryan Innes. It's not often that you'd get a chance to play a game, is it, before coming into a competitive environment. So really good for him to get 70 minutes. I'm sure he'll be feeling a lot better for that, and it will be interesting to see if he can complete the whole 90 today. But yeah, like you say, I thought a bit rusty in the first couple, but now doing what Ryan Innes does, winning aerial duels.
Mendy found back to Ahmed, didn't want it there, he's been pressurised, forced to go back to Innes, who calmly plays it upfield, but given straight back to Southend. Mendy wins the ball back well. Has he shown too much of it? He hasn't, as he plays it forward to Campbell. Looking for Damani Mellor down the right, gets the ball taken off him for a throw. Just a word on that Gloucestershire Cup. The final's on the 25th of March at Bishop's Cleeve, the same day as Forest Green travel to Tamworth. They asked Savage midweek how they're going to change the fixture. It was a blank no from him, so it's going to be the same day as the Tamworth game. So Firstly, the supporters can't attend both fixtures as much as some would like to do, as Kanu has space in the Southend half. Runs into a bit of traffic, plays it back to Biabu. He's got Ennis behind him as the simple option he finds. It also means that Forest could have to have a much weaker squad. They played a strong team on Tuesday. A lot of them will feature on the bench today. They won't be able to do that in the final. Shame that there's a fixture clash. McAllister to the left hand side, looking for Biabu, but the ball's headed back to Southend keeper. A bit of a nothing ball to him, just a bit under hit. And Southend take their time to go on forward. 20 minutes gone. Southend 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. Kano doesn't get anywhere near that, and the ball trickles off for a goal kick. The referee waves away appeals for a free kick from Gilly Biabu at the edge of the area. But concerningly, Kano committed himself then, didn't he? And just didn't get anywhere near the defensive header.
Yeah, maybe a slight scare there, because Scott Morris went down. It looked like Gilly Biabu was holding him, but nothing doing in the end. But yeah, it certainly seemed to be a little bit of holding going on either way there.
Again, Forest Green go long. Again, it goes straight into the hands of the Southend keeper. We were talking about how sunny it was earlier. The sun was being in the players' eyes. Now it's raining. It's only a light drizzle. Not sure where that came from. A few beachgoers today, they'll be frustrated with that. Ryan Ennis doesn't get onto the end of that ball and committed himself and gives away a free kick. Not the worst one to do, but he did commit himself and won the ball, but gave it away quite cheaply. The Southend playing the ball quickly from the free kick. Forest Green switched off. Dallas has got an acre of space. Plays to the right hand side. Forest Green tracking back. With Southend going forward in numbers, and the shot comes in. It's scuffed. The tracking from Southend goes into the hands of Eisted. Should have done a lot more to that. Should have Pia Forson. It remains 1-0. But again, Laurie, it could have been a lot more.
Well, not only should Pia Forson should have done better, but so should a Coker as well. Just before, 2 great chances for Southend there.
At the other end, Gilly Biabu goes into the penalty area. A few step overs, looking for options. Runs into a bit of traffic, flips it towards the far post. Campbell picks up the loose ball and runs into traffic. Back to Campbell, to Knowles, to McAllister, to the box. Going to get a shot away. It's so congested there, and it's still with Forest Green and Biabu, edge of the area. Southend have reorganised, got bodies behind the ball to get the shot in. There does Biabu. Blocked and back to McAllister. To Biabu. The initial pressure's gone. Forest Green still have possession, but Southend look a bit more organised from it. Campbell, edge of the box. Knowles wants the edge of the D. Heavy touch, it gets dispossessed, and Southend come away with it. Campbell might win the ball back though, and his shirt pulled, and surely that's a free kick. The referee agrees. Forest Green have a set piece opportunity. 30 yards out, bang in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, probably within Tom Knowles' range, isn't it? He's taken the ball. Obviously, a couple of set piece takers in this team, aren't there? Carl McAllister with the left foot, Gilly Biabu with the left foot, but this is quite central and it could probably serve quite nicely for a little sort of knuckleball technique from Tom Knowles, I think.
Yeah, it's not the keeper's left or right, bang in the middle of him. Knowles and McAllister over it. The ball's in the middle. It's one of those keeper that needs to put the ball one end and he needs to go the other end of the goal.
Elsewhere, Billy, Yeovil are 1-0 up against Boston. That is the only other goal in the National League so far. The
first one would have been here. Forest can go 1-0 down. James Golding for Southend after 3 minutes on the corner. We've got the draft excluder, this. Have Southend. McAllister and Knowles with the free kick. Into the drizzle. It's going to be Carl McAllister who leaves it for Knowles. Powerful shot and it goes wide of the goal for a goal kick. And I'm not sure really what the plan was there. I was expecting for a few deflections, but it just trickled wide.
Yeah, as expected. Knowles, who took it, got that technique, hasn't he, from a central position where he can strike it with his laces. I can see the thought process behind going low. Obviously, the rain's just started falling here at Roots Hall. They did have sprinklers on the pitch before the game. Maybe he was hoping it could zip up off the surface and cause the goalkeeper a few problems, but just enough wide in the end from a Southend point of view.
Still Southend 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. The rain's getting heavier and heavier. Innes wins the first header from the goal kick. Finds Mendy. To Woku. To Knowles. Good set of play though from Forest Green. Biabu goes long. From McAllister goes off the shoulder of the last man. What's his first touch like? It's poor actually from him. You expect better as it goes off for a goal kick. And disappointment from that because he got a decent first touch. Played the ball over them. He needed a good touch. He would have been driving towards goal.
Yeah, he was in, wasn't he? And he's good at that, Carl McAllister, sort of driving in from the right, making runs in field, and picked out really nicely. And like you say, a player of his quality, one of the best attacking players in the league, you'd expect better. But the rain really coming down now, Billy.
Absolutely pouring. Yeah, genuinely. You would have enjoyed the sun about 20 minutes ago. But it's pouring down. It's hard to see why. The clouds aren't looking too heavy.
I was going to say, it's still bright as well, isn't it?
Bizarre. Ennis gets that out-headed. Ahmed wins the second ball, thankfully. Mendy finds Ennis, who clears upfield, looking for Damani Mella. Can't keep the ball on. That's it. The ball bounces well for him. It does on the left-hand side. Controls the ball well. Powerfully played to Knowles. Makes some space. Looking for McAllister. Good first-time ball. Looking for Mendy. Back to Woku. Biabi continues his run down the left. Forest Green still have possession as the ball's played in towards the near post. Can't be found a player in the pink of Forest Green today. Mendy at the edge of the area. Hasn't scored for Forest Green since joining. Is this a chance to do so now at the edge of the box? Goes closer to goal. Plays to Biabi on the left. Ball played towards the right hand side. It's overhit and kept on by Knowles in front of the Forest Green fans. Goes past his man with ease. Drives towards the penalty area. Back to Ahmed. First time ball into the box. Biabi doesn't head it. Maybe he should have done. He just runs the ball wide and brings the ball down to McAllister. Again, momentum's gone for Forest Green. They still have possession. Mendy turns, he's open up for the shot, might take the advantage, goes into the hands of Unding Mendy, the Southend keeper, and it's probably Forest Green's first shot on target.
It is, and they've definitely weathered that storm like we said they needed to do, probably since that Gilly Boyabu sort of stoppage in play when he went down. I think Forest Green have settled and are now beginning to create chances. Laurent Mendy picking up some nice positions on the edge of the box and was worth a go from that range.
Campbell wins the ball back well in the Forest Green half. Forest Green in their away pink kit, Southend in their traditional dark blue. No Harry Cardwell for Southend. He's on loan from Forest Green, not allowed to play against them today. Forest Green go up the line looking for Ahmed. Mella picks up the second ball on the right hand side, looks for options. Back to Campbell. McAllister gets the ball in the middle. He gets dispossessed and Southend have the advantage going forward. Morton plays it down the right. Good ball forward to Dallas. Biabi comes back and gets an important touch, but Dallas brushes past him, gets the ball back, played across goal. Shot come in, it's powerful, and Isid saves. Forest need to deal with the clearance. Off the line from Ian Innes, who read that so well. And Forest Green looks to break forward now as Damani Miller looks up for options. Tom Knowles going in front of him. It's end-to-end stuff here. Forest Green still 1-0 down. Miller plays down the right to Ahmed. It's just too overhit, and Southend might have given the ball back, and they're Forest Green themselves a throw. Wow, Laurie. Good defending eventually from Forest Green.
Yeah, that's why he's in the team, Ryan Innes, isn't it? I think that ability to read situations, to get back on the goal line. Good initial save from Harry Isted, but then Southend winning 2 headers after that. And obviously the second one went towards goal, but Ryan Innes not quite as good as that goal line clearance against York that went viral at the start of the season, but yeah, certainly well placed there to prevent it becoming 2-0.
He knew what he was doing. Throwing the box to Campbell. Back to Ahmed. Puts the ball in towards the far post. Headers go up. Ahmed might have got the ball back then as there's tackles flying around off the ball. Knowles was calling for something. Referee probably didn't see it or didn't give it. Forest Green to have possession though. Campbell 30 yards out. Back to Mendy. Turns past his man well at the edge of the area. Plays to McAllister. Opens up for him. Don't do that to Carl McAllister. He's in the box now. Clipped towards the far post. Mellor's there with a header. What is off the corner? Forest Green's first, and Forest Green looking a little bit more of a threat going forward. The referee's just talking to somebody. Ahmed, I think it is, and Knowles. Not sure what those two players are going to talking to. There's something happening off the ball though, Laurie.
There was, yeah. It looked like to me, whether there was too much in it, that Harry Boyes had almost picked up Tom Knowles while he was on the floor. Obviously no penalty given, but the two players having a right talking to here from the referee, Tom Knowles and Harry Boyes.
Hartby 1-0 down to Didcot. Bishop's 2-0 down against Froome. Forest Green 1-0 down here to Southend. Cheltenham Town propping up the Gloucestershire football scorelines at the moment. Currently drawing 0-0 away at Shrewsbury. Forest Green with this first corner though. Ryan Innes is back, so you should imagine he might be a target man. Knowles with the corner on the left hand side. Knowles taking his time to place it. Forest Green, 2 rows of players attacking this. They split as it's just about to be taken. It's gone towards the near post. Innes with the header over the bar. Goal kick Southend. Interesting routine, though, wasn't it? All the players stormed out the area, they went back in.
Yeah, most importantly, created space for what is no doubt the most dangerous target from a set piece for Forest Green, Ryan Innes. And yeah, good pick out from Knowles, good delivery. Difficult header for Ryan Innes, wasn't it? But and well off target in the end. But yeah, Forest Green still settling, still look fragile at the back, as we saw a couple of minutes ago with that goal line clearance. But I think growing in possession, certainly.
Yeah, they're getting more into it. It's just they've got the possession, but you look up, there's no options in front, are there? Damani Miller has players on him. 30 minutes gone, the sun's back out. Forest Green don't win the first header. Mendy lets it go past him. Knowles plays it upfield. Miller looking to hold the ball up, can't find McAllister, and Southend come away with it. And Southend, just a couple of minutes ago, had that chance cleared off the line by Ryan Innes, who is called upon yet again, clears upfield. Biabu doesn't challenge that and gets falls over Scott Morris quite dramatically as well, accidentally I think important as well, but he flipped over him. Scott Morris on a yellow card for a foul earlier on Biabu. It was a bizarre one, Laurie.
Yeah, it was like a front flip, wasn't it, over the top of him. Like you say, no foul doing. I think Gili Biabu was just desperate to get to the ball and would do anything to do so.
Third to Southend, midway in the Forest Green half. Southend 1, Forest Green 0. Taking the time this throw-in. Played down the line. Carnu tries to get a touch but can't. Hopper gets there first, played in towards the area. Forest Green clear through Ahmed. Picked up by Gubbins. He plays it in left-footed. Ahmed has enough time to take a touch. Not the best one. Plays back to his keeper Eisted, who clears upfield. Looking for Damani Miller, who jumps well, but he can't get near it. But he certainly put no lack of effort. Campbell needed a man-on shout there. Still has possession to Ahmed. McAllister forced deeper into his own half. Back to Innes. One of those just seems to be more Southend players than Forest Green, both going forward and defensively. Woku crosses the halfway line, been quite quiet this game. Biabi gets the boost as he goes down the left, finds Woku again. Biabi continues his run, but Woku still has possession. Force further back to Ryan Innes. To Carnu. To Woku, still just in his own half. Biabi found on the far left. Falls back into his own half again to Carnu. They're not going anywhere, Forest Green, at the moment.
They're not, but I do think this is what they had to do, isn't it? Just kill the game a little bit, just have a spell on the ball.
Mendy gets the ball back after finding Mellor to McAllister. Forest Green looking good in possession at the moment. Going further forward. A bit like NFL, isn't it? Just slowly going through the phases. Taking their time to go upfield. Mendy being pressurised, and Forest Green give the ball away, and here comes Southend driving forward. Gubbins goes past one man, gets a shot away, and he needed a diving challenge of Carnu. And you talk about NFL, just a blatant interception, and Southend storm on forward.
Yeah, we know how good Laura Mendy is in possession. Like, you know, when he gets the ball in a tight space, he so often wriggles out of it, but just too complacent there, wasn't he? Just too laid back, I think, and one loose pass, and all of a sudden they had a run at goal. Luckily, there were 3 Forest Green players tracking back, and Carnu it was who managed to get an important block in.
But at the expense of a Southend corner, they've been threatening from them. They scored from one. The players are outside the 6-yard box. That's exactly where it's played, though. McAllister wins the first defensive header, but Southend get the ball back as Forest Green have everyone back defending. Ahmed sees the ball off for Southend throw midway into the Forest Green half. Forest Green got work to do here.
Elsewhere, Billy, a few goals. York are 1-0 up at Aldershot. Boston in Yeovil is now 1-1, and so is Halifax against Borehamwood.
One apiece there between the two teams looking to go into the playoffs, as are the two teams here. As it stands, I think Southend might just be going into the playoffs. McAllister deep in his own half, doesn't got nowhere to go at the moment. He's by his own corner flag. Finds Ahmed, touches heavy, eventually manages to play upfield, wins himself a throw. Midway in the Forest Green half. Right call, actually. Referee saw it took a deflection, despite the calls of some of the Southend fans around us. they've got better Forest Green, but let's think of the chance Southend have.
They have, yeah. That comes down to the defensive fragility, which I think we saw last week as well. I do think Forest Green were good and deserving of the win against Aldershot, but we still saw moments where they do look fragile at the back, don't they? With a few low knees and a few young players back there.
Looked like a foul throw there from Ahmed, but the referee didn't give it. High boot from Campbell, the referee didn't give either. Mendy clears upfield as the referee gives a stops play because there's a bit of a contact between two players, and it's the head of Andrew Dellis. He's not going to need any treatment. Actually, I think he might do. Yeah, the physio comes on. It's not the end of the world for Forest Green. Not sure the ball forward would have done too much with it. The referee's making sure the physio comes on. I think the physio doesn't want to, knowing that if he does touch Dallas, he'll have to spend 30 seconds off the field. Does give both teams a chance to take on some fluids. It's not one of those, it's not a deliberate timeout sort of injury. It's an obvious head injury to Dallas, and whilst the physio gives him some treatment, Forest Green and Southend both go towards their respective dugouts. Every player, apart from Eisted, having a talking to. What can he say? I know Savage is at the back, and he's got other teams, members of his backroom team to talk to them. I don't know what Forest Green can do here. Be better is a bit of an easy thing to say.
Yeah, he's just sort of out of our eyesight, isn't he, Robbie Savage? Just in front of us, but in a sort of a blind spot in the director's box. But I do wonder what he's thinking here. I think Forest Green started really poorly. Could have gone a couple of goals down. Credit to Forest Green for weathering the storm somewhat in that respect. Obviously, the Ryan Innes goal line clearance was a massive moment, but I feel like they are growing in possession. They do look confident in possession, but when you look at chances, they've basically all been for Southend, haven't they? Even as lately as the one that Kanu blocked just now. And despite Forest Green growing into this game, Southend still do look the more likely to score, I would say.
You're right. I think it was an unfortunate goal to give away as Innes plays the ball back to Eisted. Dallas off getting treatment. Dallas still off, love to come on, but he can't. Forest Green currently playing against 10 men. Not doing much with it though, he's playing against the defence, and Dallas still not allowed on. As the BR boot, they're not making the most of this, are they, Forest Green? It's normally when the team goes to temporarily go down to 10, the other team try and get a chance going forward. Ahmed might do that though, being pressurised though. Goes down the right, gets dispossessed though. McAllister just has a bit of a coming together. There's a bit of a late challenge there from Campbell as well. McAllister's giving away a free kick, and Dallas allowed back onto the grass. Again, Forest Green, they should have surely had a chance to press on forward, but just did nothing when they had that numerical advantage.
Yeah, seemed quite content to just keep the ball at the back, didn't they? Until the ball came out to Ashkar Ahmed on this right side, who looked to sort of scurry forward with it, but yeah, again, nothing doing, and a free kick given away, which gives Southend an opportunity to have a spell of possession again.
Ball played into the Forest Green half. Forest Green don't win the first header. Carney takes his time with the second, wins off a free kick. Yeah, unfortunate goals for Forest Green to give away. Cheap corner from Mendy, and no one picked up the man on the far post. However, if it is 1-0 at half time, 38 minutes gone, so still another 7 minutes of it, not an unfair scoreline, really. As Ahmed goes down the right, looking for Mellor. Might have won himself a throw, he has. Forest Green have in the throw in the Southend half, as the sun comes out yet again. Ahmed with the throw. He's taking his time with it. There's no options off the ball for him, really, is there? It's static. Just throws the ball down the line, looking for Carl McAllister. Two players on him, and one of them gets the ball back. Innes with a defensive, powerful header, looking for Mendy. Does well to get another head, but can't find anyone. And Innes, another header, again defensively called upon. He's being more and more tested as Ryan Innes, but he's rising to it.
You're right, Billy, a lack of options there, wasn't there, from the throw-in from Ahmed, and you would think that Damani Mellor would probably be the player to hit from situations like that. He's shown himself to be really good in the air so far, hasn't he, in the early days of his Forest Green career, and even when he doesn't win aerial duels, I think he's very good at chasing lost causes, but the ball was kind of thrown aerially to Carl McAllister and immediately given away. Boyce
with the throw. Forest Green don't pick up Papaya Forson in the middle, who makes himself some space, going to get a shot away, plays it unselfishly to the right-hand side. Scott Morris gets the shot and it hits the post and goes off for a goal kick. Unless he got the save, I said he did. He tipped it onto the post for the corner. And Scott Morris with a vicious shot
Yeah, fair to say that's probably a very good save from Harry Isted. We couldn't quite see, there was a few bodies blocking it. It looked from our point of view that it just came straight off the post, but clearly Harry Isted has got at least fingertips to that, and Apaya Forson skipped past Mendy quite easily in the middle of the field, and Scott Morris did well to get a shot away in the end, and a decent one at that as well.
For Southend's 6th corner, played in towards the near post. It's congested, it goes over everyone. No touch from anyone off for a goal kick, but it could have been anyone's. Forest Green are just not defending these set pieces well. And Isted's going to take his time with the goal kick. Laurie, I know you said, looking at some stats together, both teams were challenging as the referees said the goal kick has to be retaken because Southend went into the box. Both, when the reverse fixture, both teams were looking towards the top, and certainly less so now.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? When that game got played in November, it felt like a really significant game, didn't it? Obviously there's a bit of needle between the two clubs, but both clubs, looked like they were title contenders at that point, and that win put Forest Green a point off the top. Southend were 11 points off. Now this fixture in March, Forest Green are 23 points off the pace and Southend 33 points, which I suppose shows how both clubs have fallen away somewhat, but also just the relentless pace at the top from Rochdale and York.
Yeah, Rochdale and York really pulling away, and Forest Green and Southend aren't. But yeah, it just shows both teams have not pushed towards the top. Knowles gets dispossessed so easily in his own half. Southend go back. They should have gone forward. That's the groans you can hear around us. Golding goes long down the right hand side. No one picks up the first ball from Forest Green. Carnu gets onto the second though and wins himself a free kick, being fouled by Tom Hopper. And there's any goals elsewhere, Laurie?
Yeah, another couple in the National League. Halifax are now 2-1 up against Boreham Wood, and Gateshead are 1-0 up against Sutton. A big game down at the bottom there. Both the Premier League games are 0-0.
Yeah, that Gateshead result, current scoreline, the result here, they drew here midweek. And yes, I know Forest Green got 3 points there, much needed after a poor run of form. But it's a tough time to play them. You can see their recent results, Gateshead, they are picking up points and trying to get out the bottom four, as are Morecambe. And Forest Green do have to play Innes with a shove on the bat, not given on the referee. And all that free kick, actually the second free kick was Carnu fouling Hopper. And Southend have a chance to put the ball into the box. Game's drifting towards half-time. Probably a half-time whistle. Forest Green want more than Southend. 3 minutes of normal time to go. And Forest Green do have to play Morecambe at home and Truro away in the remaining 8 fixtures after today.
Yeah, after today, Forest Green's fixtures on paper look quite good, don't they? In terms of they're not facing teams in and around them, but
Wealdstone's not easy though.
Well, and of course the caveat to that is that the teams down there are going to be fighting for something. They face Brackley on Easter weekend as well, don't they? Who need the points at the moment.
Wealdstone won 5-1 against Solihull, an outside chance of trying to get into the playoffs, and a great run of form. They're 11 points away from it. They're all keeping an eye on the FA Trophy. As Southend looking to put the ball into the box, they do just that, and there's not the best header that from Scott Morris. He should have placed it either side of Ice. It went straight into the hands of him. Did well to get there in the first place. Yeah, Wealdstone in FA Trophy action against Marine in a few weeks' time. Hopefully for Forest Green to keep an eye on that. But as we said, they won 5-1 in the early fixture today. Southend clear up the line. Carnu under pressure, doesn't challenge it first of all, lets the ball bounce and heads the ball back to Isted, who dives in front of Dallas to get there. Simple stuff really from Carnu. Allowed the ball to bounce.
Yeah, it looked like he was in full control and then almost seemed to take his eye off the ball a little bit, didn't he? Allowing Dallas to get in front of him, but eventually recovered.
Innes forward to Mendy. Brushes off one challenge. Ahmed's an easy option if he can find him. Maintains possession, does Mendy, and then plays it straight out for a throw. He wanted a free kick, there's nothing on them. And he tries a bit too clever playing it to Ahmed down the line. It's wet on the pitch. I know it's just rain, it's cutting up a little bit, isn't it? It's not perfectly true. There's a bit of sand, especially in Isted's 6-yard line box when he was clearing upfield. There's certainly far more sand than grass there. Campbell finds Woku, back to Mendy, going down the right. Mellor with a touch, but can't go forward, but it just gets clear from Golding. Good to get any touch on that, to be fair, from the ball over the top to Damani Mellor.
Yeah, definitely. Decent pick out from Mendy as well, because I thought the obvious ball was the one to Carl McAllister right alongside him, but nice to get Forest Green probably 15 yards further up the pitch.
30 seconds of normal time to go in the first half. Mendy finds McAllister on the right hand side. Back to Mendy, who touch isn't the best, but recovers and plays it to Biabu, more in the centre of the field. Forced back to Kanu, who's being pressed and goes all the way back to Eisted. Gets a round of applause from the home team, the home fans. Played up the line again from Southend, looking for Dallas down the left. Got no one near him. Innes trying to stop him going to the box, and he hasn't been able to do so. Dallas gets himself a shooting position. Well charged down from Ryan Innes, and shots are going in everywhere. Forest Green to desperately clear. Fallen to Gubbins. He plays it to the left. Forest Green don't. Still got their shoulders slumped a little bit, aren't they? If you look at them now off the ball, they're not looking. I would say up for it, like, but just haven't got the. Looking a bit on the back foot. Ball played into the area. Too much time left for Southend. It's completely unmarked, and the shot goes into the hands of Eisted from Coker. I was going to get it away with this. There's 2 minutes of injury time to go, by the way. We actually have 30 seconds of it. 1-0 is good for Forest Green at half-time.
Just think they're a bit fragile and easy to play through. I'd say that's probably the main thing, just easy to play through. Like then, Ryan Innes came forwards, and then he had space to make up, but Ashkar Ahmed was so far forwards as well, where Southend just have so much space to exploit because the Rovers defenders were just so far forward, and dare I say it, so far out of position as well.
They need half-time though, do Forest Green. Ahmed with the throw-in. He's been called up from the fans for foul throws in the first half. Let's see how this is. That's better, despite the calls of a couple of home fans. Carney on the halfway line to Biabu on the left. We've got 30 seconds of normal time to go. Plays it straight out for a throw-in. Forest Green desperately need this half-time whistle, Laurie.
Yeah, I think, like you say, Billy, I think the best bit about this half is that Forest Green are only 1-0 down. I think it could be more. I think that they look a bit fragile, a bit easy to play through, but also a lot of just silly mistakes like that loose pass there from under no pressure. Yeah, they need the half-time whistle and to regroup here.
They've got 10 seconds of injury time to go before it. Throw down the line, they've got to defend first. Biabu wins a defensive header, finds Mendy. Looking for Mellor, chests the ball down. Finds McAllister on the halfway line. Plays it to the left, and Woku has a bit of space. Doesn't have any time to get onto the end of it though, because the referee does blow up for half-time here at Roots Hall, and it's Southend 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. The goal coming after 3 minutes on the corner from Golding. And Forest Green, I've got to say, they should be grateful it's only 1-0. Despite Golding scoring after only 3 minutes, they had a chance in the first minute themselves. Just having a little look at any afters between Scott Morris and Jidda Biabu. Having a bit of a talking to off the ball, a bit of tapping on the back, and the referee's keeping half an eye on it as they have the passionate conversation. They're going down the tunnel. Yes, Golding scored after 3 minutes, but then there's been chances of plenty for Southend after that. Ryan Innes stopping it off the line with a headed clearance, blocked shots as well from Southend. Forest Green, chances few and far between, you have to say. Just the one shot on target and a poor free kick from Tom Knowles. And Laurie, Savage is allowed into the change rooms for half time. He's got his work cut out.
Yeah, definitely. I think Forest Green had a decent spell, didn't they? Maybe around the 20-minute mark, but it didn't last too long. And in truth, yeah, Southend could be further ahead. You think of that goal line clearance, you think of the one that hit the post, and when you think of it like that, you're thinking, wow, 1-0 is not a bad place to be, is it, at half time? Especially at a place like this as well, because the game could have got away from Forest Green in that first half. But like I say, not too many redeeming features of the performance so far, but at least they're only 1-0 down and can come again in the second half. Yeah,
we're still waiting for half time at Shrewsbury. It's currently 0-0. They're in 3 minutes of injury time there. You look at the bench for Forest Green. Farrah Pagel, the sub goalkeeper, Neil Kengi, Nick Horton, Jaden Clark, Trey Pemberton, Gabe Kirkhoff, and finally Jose Marquez. In terms of game changers, I guess you look at Jaden Clark, who's impressed in the bit against Yate. Jose Marquez hasn't featured for a while. Nick Horton can have a bit of magic. I don't think it'll go straight away, but they need to do something different.
Yeah, like you say, Horton and Clark are game changers, aren't they, with their technical ability, moments of magic. You'd imagine if Forest Green remaining a losing position, then Jose Marquez will come on, probably as an additional striker. I do think the game could probably do with a Harvey bunker, to be honest with you. I think Forest Green have lost quite a few battles in the middle of the pitch, and I think just getting him in there as an extra midfielder along with Mendy or Campbell would, really help Forest Green regain a little bit of control in the middle of the pitch. But yeah, you're looking at them three, aren't you, from an attacking point of view? Horton, Clark and Marquez as the three.
Yeah, Forest Green needs to do something different, very much on the back foot. Jose Marquez has been sent out with his shorts, whether that means something different coming on in the second half. We'll find out in about 12 minutes time. Half time here at a packed Roots Hall. It's Southend 1, Forest Green Rovers 0.
Kitchen. BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
Half-time then in your commentary matches here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. If you're on DAB, it's 0-0 for Cheltenham Town at Shrewsbury Town. In the National League, Southend United lead Forest Green Rovers by 1-0. We'll round up all of those half-time scores next.
When laughter's guaranteed, when there's fun and games with big names, when it's something everyone in the family loves watching.
Who do you think the surprise guest is?
No way they'll top last week's.
I think they have.
Nothing brings us together like great TV. And the TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, plus BBC iPlayer, packed full of entertainment for a big night in. It also funds everything you love from the BBC, including live radio, like this.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
Good afternoon, this is Match Day on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Steve Kitchen with you through until 6 o'clock. 9 minutes to 4, let's have a rundown and see what's happening all over the county and all over the country. We'll start with the Premier League. Just 2 3 o'clock games today and no goals. It's Burnley 0, AFC Bournemouth 0 and Sunderland 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. 2 5:30 kickoffs today. Arsenal host Everton and Chelsea host Newcastle. Manchester City then go to West Ham at 8 o'clock tonight. Into Football League 2. In the lunchtime kickoff, it's finished at Harrogate 0, Salford City 1. A late goal from Udo getting the goal and the 3 points for Salford City to put them into the playoff places. Chesterfield were 3-2 winners at Notts County. Notts County reduced to 10 men in the 19th minute after Ollie Norburn was shown a second yellow card for throwing an opponent's boot off the field. That's one for the manager to get his head right. In this afternoon's 3 o'clock games, no goals for Cheltenham Town, all for Shrewsbury in our feature match here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Shrewsbury 0, Cheltenham Town 0. However, there have been goals elsewhere. Barnet lead Newport by 1-0. Bottom of the table, not bottom of the table, 23rd in the table. Newport's 1 place above Harrogate on goal difference as things sit at the moment. Harrogate being beaten earlier at Salford today. Callum Stead has put Barnet 1-0 up in the first half in that game. Barrow 0, Accrington 0. Barrow just hoping to get it as whatever they can out of that game, with Newport losing and Harrogate, of course, already lost today. Top of the table, Bromley lead Bristol Rovers by 1-0 at the break. Will Handemark getting the goal there for Bromley. Third place, Cambridge United, looking so strong at the moment. They're 2-0 up against Gillingham at half-time. Dominic Ball and Lewis Perry getting the goal there for Cambridge. Albert Adoma scored for Walsall, who leads 1-0 at Crewe. No goals between Fleetwood and Tranmere. It's also goalless between Oldham and Grimsby. Big game at the top of the table. Swindon in 5th, hosting 2nd place MK Dons. And Alex Gilby has scored in the first half to give the Dons a first half lead there. Swindon 0, MK Dons 1. Let's tip to the National League then. Well, we've had a goal in our commentary match.
Swinging and dangerous, and it's headed in! It's headed in Southend, exactly where we thought it would be. Went towards the far post, headed in by Golding. Forest Green couldn't hack it away, and after just 2 minutes, they find themselves 1-0 down.
Yeah, James Golding with the only goal of the first half. Forest Green trail 1-0 at Southend United. In the lunchtime kickoff, Wellston beat Solihull Moors 5-1. In the 3 o'clock games, York City are 1-0 up at Aldershot, 2nd place York. Elsewhere in the National League 3 o'clock games, Boston 1, Yeovil 1, Brackley 0, Woking 0. Gateshead leads Sutton United by 1-0. Boreham Wood a 2-1 down at Halifax. That's a good game in the table. So Halifax is 7th. Boreham Wood in 4th, both of course in those playoff places as things sit at the moment. Tamworth 0, Carlisle United 0. Carlisle in 3rd then being held up at the moment by Tamworth, who started the day at 11th in the table. And it's Truro City 0, Hartlepool United 0. What a journey that is for those Hartlepool United fans to go all the way down to watch their football at Truro City today. A 15-hour round trip, 920-mile round trip for those fans today. Good luck to them as well on their trip down to Truro City. Truro 0, Hartlepool United 0. That's the latest then in your football. Now in rugby today, of course it is Six Nations weekend, the final round of matches in the Six Nations taking place today. Ireland leading Scotland by 36 points to 21, denting Scotland's hopes of claiming the Six Nations into the dying minutes of that game. Then it's Wales against Italy. Italy, of course, looking for their 3rd win in the tournament this year. Wales looking for their 1st win at the Principality Stadium. And then France looking to claim the Six Nations, host England at 8:10 tonight. And England desperate to bounce back, but what a difficult place to do that in Paris. Of course, the Gloucester Centre, Seb Atkinson once again start for England. In our local rugby today, just one game taking place in National League 2 West. Cinderford are at Redruth, and Cinderford trailing 21-14 at the moment. Josh Horrobin has just scored a try for the Foresters after Brendan Llewellyn has scored the first. So Redruth 21, Cinderford 14, the latest score there. In fact, that is half time now. 21-14, Cinderford trailing in Cornwall.
Text A1333, starting your message with Gloss. Texts are charged at your standard message rate.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
So at this half-time point then, let's catch up with Formula One. History was made in qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix this morning, with Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli becoming the youngest ever driver to take pole position in a Grand Prix. He finished ahead of his teammate George Russell, with the 2 Ferraris behind them on the grid. Champion Lando Norris will start in 6th. The BBC's Harry Benjamin rounds up the action from the Shanghai International Circuit.
A record-breaking day in Formula One. Kimi Antonelli becoming the youngest ever pole sitter in Formula One history. It's a Mercedes front row lockout. Sam Bird, the Formula E driver, is alongside me, and a great day for the Italians, a great day for Mercedes.
A brilliant day for Mercedes. Another 1-2 on the grid, with now the youngest ever Formula One pole sitter being Kimi Antonelli, a record that has stood since Sebastian Vettel in Monza when he dominated in the wet. But certainly Mercedes still look the class of the field, and it's going to be very difficult to see anybody getting close to them tomorrow.
Now, George Russell, though, started off the day in sublime form, a sprint pole, and then went on for the sprint win. And what was a really entertaining sprint race, back and forth battle with Lewis Hamilton and the other Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, before eventually winning despite a late safety car, which really kept us on our toes. But then Grand Prix qualifying, well, suddenly in Q3, in the fight for pole, it looked like George Russell wasn't even going to get back to the garage. He stopped out on track.
He did. He encountered some gremlins there with either software or gearbox, or potentially even hardware with the steering wheel. We're yet to hear what the issue was. He managed to crawl back round in first gear to the Mercedes pits, and with 2 minutes on the clock remaining, you saw the car exit the garage, and we didn't know whether they'd fixed the issue. Anyway, they had, but the tyres were not up to temperature. His battery pack wasn't charged fully. Plus, he'd had a front wing change from Q2 to Q3. So all things considered, I think a front row start for George Russell, he'll be very satisfied with that tonight.
So Kimi Antonelli then and George Russell lock out the front row for the Chinese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton finished third in the sprint, qualified third for the Grand Prix, ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc. I feel like we've got a Lewis Hamilton reborn this year, Sam.
We do. He looks motivated, he looks ready, he looks focused, and looks happy again, being in Ferrari red and you know, supported here by his mum. I think that's important to him. He looks like a man that wants to be in Formula One, and you couldn't say that last year. And honestly, it's a delight to see him back in action and back racing where he belongs at the sharp end.
Absolutely, and he'll be hoping to make forward moves because we know that Ferrari is so good off the start. So too for Charles Leclerc, who's right behind him. The two McLarens, 5th and 6th, reigning world champion Lando Norris, a little bit in no man's land. Best of the rest, Pierre Gasly, ahead of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bulls. They seem to be in trouble.
Red Bulls are struggling at the moment, especially round here, quite a long way off the pace. So the order, there's a bit of a mix-up in the order right now in Formula One, which is exciting to see. Pierre Gasly doing a great job with that Alpine, Mercedes powered, of course, for this year. So that's working quite nicely. And as you said, Harry, the McLarens are kind of in their own little world, a little bit off the back of Ferrari and Mercedes, but, you know, a little bit in front of the rest of the top 5 or 6.
And overall, with big questions over the regulations this year, a new era of Formula One, how that's playing out on track, Saturday in China has proved very entertaining, I think it's fair to say.
It's been a great Saturday. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. If this is what Formula One is going to look like for the foreseeable future, then bring it on, because we had a fantastic sprint and it's closer than what I think anybody thought post the testing in Bahrain.
It certainly is. Whilst Mercedes look like they have an advantage, who knows what the Chinese Grand Prix will bring. We'll have 56 laps of running around the Shanghai International Circuit, and it's Kimi Antonelli who starts on pole.
Harry Benjamin with a record-breaking qualification then in the Chinese Grand Prix today.
On BBC iPlayer.
The question has become more urgent. How do we sort fact from fiction?
How can we believe what we see?
The hit drama returns.
That is not the shooter I saw. Why am I the only one who saw the suspect?
You think this is correction?
Yes, sir. The news footage has been deep-faked.
Do you trust her judgment? I don't trust, period. The new series of The Capture. Famously unreliable things, memories.
You can't hack a memory.
Stranger things have happened. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
St Patrick's Day weekend is in full swing. Ireland have beaten Scotland by 43 points to 21 in the first Six Nations game today. That means that Ireland win the Triple Crown and still in with a chance of winning the Six Nations. They're keeping their fingers crossed now that England can do the unlikely and win against France in Paris tonight. But Ireland 43, Scotland 21 is a full-time score now in that first Six Nations game. It's Wales against Italy up next. Elsewhere today in the Premiership Women's Rugby, Exeter Chiefs have beaten Trailfinders Women by 47 points to 14, and Sale Sharks Women have hammered Leicester Tigers on the road by 62 points to 3. The top two play tomorrow here live on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. It's a 12:30 kickoff. Gloucester Hartbury at Saracens. Gloucester Hartbury in second, Saracens at top, but Saracens having played a game more, and Gloucester Hartbury unbeaten all season. Cracking game that one, 12:30 tomorrow afternoon live here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Time to take you back then to your commentary matches here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. At Cheltenham Town on DAB, where there are no goals in the first half. Let's see what happens in the second half. If you're tuning in on DAB, it's Shrewsbury Town against Cheltenham Town with Mark Halliwell and first Peter Matthews. Whilst on 14:13am on FM, on Freeview 716 and BBC Sounds, Forest Green Rovers have a job on. They trail 1-0 at half-time at Southend United. Robbie Savage out of the stands and talking to his players. Let's see if he can have an impact and rejoin your commentary team of Laurie Martin and Billy Hunt.
Well, he's made a change. On comes Jaden Clark, who's impressed in the victory over Yate. Bit difference against 8,500 attendance here at Southend. He's replaced Tate Campbell, who in truthfulness hasn't been too much involved in the game. Laurie, much of a surprise with that?
Well, we did suggest that a midfield change might be what was required, didn't we? We were talking about Harvey Bunker's absence from the squad entirely today, but Jaden Clark on, and it does look, obviously we've not yet kicked off, but he's almost gone into that number 6 position, hasn't he, which is where he played against Yate the other night. Obviously something entirely different, as you say, doing it here in front of 8,500, but that might be where he's going to sit up next to Laurent Mendy.
Yeah, I'll see how things settle down, but whether he's going to be a bit deeper, which isn't his natural position, but immediately Southend go on forward. Gilly Biabu clears up the line, but Southend first of the ball yet again. And, well, Clark didn't get a touch on that when he should have done, and Forest can find themselves exposed. The shot goes in. Istead sees it over the bar. Not through lack of trying. They didn't dip as much as the Southend player was hoping for, but within the first 30 seconds, things haven't changed too much.
Yeah, similar to the first half, wasn't it, where Dallas went through and had a chance after after just 30 seconds. And again, Southend starting as they mean to go on, and not good for Forest Green. They can't afford to be caught on the back foot because, you know, Southend shooting towards their more, you know, vocal fans in this second half. You don't want to give them a reason to shout.
Forest Green 1-0 down. Again, you can just see in the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, Southend first to everything. Jilibi takes a touch, finds Mendy. I don't think he wanted it there. We did well to calmly find McAllister. Runs into a bit of traffic. Players falling off the ball. Referee's not seen anything. Knows the fourth official, who's chatting with the ref. There's a player down for Southend. I think it's Scott Morris. Is it still there? Still down holding his head. Referee's not giving anything as McAllister crosses the halfway line. Goes down to Jilibi. I'm surprised he hasn't been stopped, but the Jilibi puts the ball into the box. Knowles with a flick shot goes wide of the goal for a goal kick, and there is a player down. He's holding his head still, is the Southend player. He's either very injured or he's making the most of it. Off the ball, something happened there, do you think, Laurie?
Yeah, I don't think there was loads in it, but surprising nonetheless that play wasn't stopped, because it was very clearly a head injury. You know, whether there's too much in it or not, I do think that play should have been stopped under the protocol. So interesting that it wasn't, but it created a chance for Forest Green, and Tom Knowles did well to get a shot away because it was coming at him behind him, but he managed to get quite an intelligent strike away, but just dropped past the post.
It's Scott Morris down, who's getting extended treatment. I hope he's okay. However, unfortunately, with the crying wolf scenario, he's not unknown for going down dramatically, is Scott Morris, but he's getting a lot of treatment and he was down for a long time. The referees didn't give anything, but the physio's certainly talking to him for a long time. Scott Morris still shaking his head. I'm not sure who the player was who was allegedly confronted with him, whether it was Jilibi, who certainly continued the battle. Ryan is having a chat with him as well. He looks okay, Scott Morris. He's going off shaking his head out of frustration with a bit of smile on his face, so it did take a while to come back up. Got the ice pack on him. He's going to be off the pitch for 30 seconds. The fourth official, I think, is who Scott Morris and the management team are talking to, because he had the best view of that, of something which happened.
Yeah, immediately the Southend bench weren't happy as soon as Scott Morris went down. What quite happened, I'm not too sure, but obviously Scott Morris spent a long time on the floor, but back up now, and we'll be back on within the next 30 seconds or so.
He's got a yellow card though, Scott Morris. Got to be careful of moaning too much. Southend restart with a goal kick. Again, Southend down to 10 temporarily, but they've got this goal kick and they'll try and maintain possession as long as possible.
It is interesting, Billy, that Jaden Clark has come on just a straight swap for Tate Campbell in that number 6 role, which is interesting. You know, Chibi Nwoku, very used in his academy days to playing that number 6 role. He did it in his early days here at Forest Green. Jaden Clark, obviously technically an excellent player. You wouldn't strike you as somebody to come on and win, you know, second balls and duels in the middle of the pitch, but possibly a stroke of genius, who knows?
Hasn't worked yet, but you have to got a lot of the game to go. He's only 3 minutes since coming on as Jaden Clark. Jilibi doesn't challenge that ball and allows Player Forson to bring the ball down with ease, and they go forward, and Innes half challenges for the header. Southend get the ball back. It's all from Jilibi, not really putting too much of a challenge, and Mendy does well to stay strong and gives the ball away. It's given straight to Morton. Poor from Forest Green and Mendy. Southend go down the left now. Here on Steve Kitchen's match day. You can hear from Robbie Savage. He's banned from the touchline, not banned from talking to us. The ball played into the area. The offside flag goes up as Innes with a bit of a coming together with the Southend player going forward. And I imagine Savage won't be too happy if it maintains this scoreline. It's only 1-0. Could have been so much more. Maybe Forest Green can make Southend pay for not taking their chances. Roko on the ball now in his own half, sees Knowles making a run, doesn't go to him, plays it to the easy option of Jilibi, gets the booze. Back to Clark. To Ryan Innes on the right hand side, back finds McAllister to Ryan Innes. Poor ball from Innes, trying to thread the ball through, and Southend quickly get the ball forward themselves. Forest Green needs to clear. Carnu heads the ball away from danger originally, but gets the ball back and plays it forward, but gives the ball away again. Why has Forest Green doing this? Southend the ball on the left-hand side. Scott Morris on the far post. If they can find him, Scott Morris' header goes wide for a goal kick as he rolls off the pitch holding his head against Scott Morris. I think that could be a bit more genuine. But Forest Green saying have a chance, Southend.
Yeah, both centre-halves making mistakes there. Ryan Innes firstly a little bit rusty, wasn't he, and then was caught out of position. Good initial recovery from Carl McAllister, who sort of covered Innes' position, but then Kanu, wasn't it? The misplaced pass on the edge of the box, which allowed Southend to come again. So, again, not what you want, is it? Both of your centre-halves making mistakes in the same passage of play.
Want to get hold of us in the studio, Steve Kitching, text on 81333. Must start the message with the word gloss, and then the message must also say the standard network rates apply. As the ball goes from end to end, you can WhatsApp on 08000 321 333. Again, start the message with the word gloss. And finally, tweet us or find us on X at BBC Gloss. Let us know your thoughts. I think the thoughts on the Forest Green fans, and they're not playing too well at the moment. And Laurie is the hopper with the flick to try and find Scott Morris. Can't be found because Forest Green clear their lines for an attacking throw. Hasn't been a better second half from Forest Green yet.
It's not, no. Southend started well, didn't they, initially in the first 20-30 seconds, and then they've come again, haven't they? Getting chances, but not working particularly hard to create the chances. They've been gifted them somewhat with mistakes at the back.
Scott Morris with the throw. Could be a long one. First time he's had to do that today. Plays it short instead. Played into the area, deliberately for a Pyre Forson back towards the 6-yard area. Forest Green need to clear. Roku does just that, looking for Damani Mellor. Can he get there first? He can't. Slid away from him. Off for a throw Southend's way. Despite the boos of the Southend fans. Good challenge, got to say. As Roku goes down the left-hand side. He won himself a throw. He has by the corner flag. Might be a chance to go long. Yes, Tom Knowles is telling Innes and Mendy to get into the area because it's going to be a long throw. Although he hasn't responded, interestingly. No, eventually he does. He's be told from the dugout to go forward as Ryan Innes for Tom Knowles' long throw. Good work from Meadow. Again, never was going to be the favourite to get there, but forced the challenge from the Southend defence. Knowles slips as he's about to take it, but thankfully didn't let go of the ball, so he gets another chance. Long throw, goes into the 6-yard box. Can't find Innes first time, but goes back to Ahmed. Thinks about having a long-range shot, leads it to Clark, to McAllister on the right-hand side. Big man still in there, played towards the box, easily goes into the hands of Ndongendi and falls to the floor. Might need a bit of treatment for that. Runs into his own player, and the referee's going to see if he's okay. He's officially had the ball in his hand for more than 6 seconds already. Might need some treatment. He's taking his chance to wind down the clock.
Yeah, not helping contribute towards a free-flowing second half, isn't it? A couple of stoppages already, which will frustrate Forest Green because they obviously need to score. They need a goal, and
well, but it sends the wrong message from Southend. I think they've been by far the better of the two teams. They don't need to manage the game. They just keep playing, hope Forest Green gives them as many opportunities as they've had done the previous 54 minutes, and they'll get another goal. But the keeper's getting some treatment. Both teams getting on some fluid. Bishop's Cleeve now 4-0 down against Frome. Forest Green do travel on the 25th of March in the Gloucestershire Senior Cup final. Savage said it's going to have to be a youth team because Forest Green also in National League action, and they prioritise that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, they can't play in different games, different days. He seems okay, the keeper. He's just stretching himself out. Not been too tested throughout this game. Forest Green, let's keep it at 1-0 and see what they can do towards the end. And just a bit of a negative attitude, but they've not started the second half as brightly as Savage may expect.
Just the one second half goal in the National League so far. Hartlepool are 1-0 up at Truro.
I know everyone talks about the Gateshead Truro game, but Hartlepool to Truro is not the easiest of travels. Currently they're a goal to 0 up. Play restart to a drop ball to Ndongendi. Southend keeper who goes long. Innes watching it, gets a touch onto it, enough to fully clear through Ahmed. Knowles charges down the clearance. It gets played off for a throw, and as it's kept on, stays on. And Carnu plays it back to Innes, who's being charged down. Carmen plays to the right-hand side to Armour. He's got the press turn on to Innes again. I said it's found. He goes long. The drizzle just stops temporarily. Again, they go down the left through Coker. There's options in the box. Scott Morris on the far post. No one's got him. Look, there's no one there. If they get the ball there, it's a long way to him. But Boyce puts the ball into the box, and the header goes from the near post over the bar from Hopper, and it remains 1-0 Southend. 56 minutes gone. Forest Green needs something. I don't think you don't want to make whole-scale changes going forward just yet. Again, because unfortunately they seem to be more likely to concede than they are to score. It's just almost a survival mode still, which is a negative thing to say, but Forest Green haven't impressed today.
It is, yeah. It goes back to the point we made a few minutes ago, wasn't it? About, Southend, a couple of players going down, causing a couple of stoppages, but it's there for them, isn't it? If they want to make it 2-3, I've no doubt that Southend could, with a slightly better finishing and being a bit more clinical in those moments.
Carnu gives away a throw, being pressured by Hopper. Might be a Scott Morris long one. It is. He gives himself up to take. It's just so easy for them. There seems to be some changes on the bench coming shortly. Is that Trey Pemberton coming on?
It is indeed, yeah.
An interesting change. As Scott Morris has his long throw. Frost's got to defend before anything can happen. Wicked into the 6-yard box. Innes wins the first header. They've got to win the second, though. There's always a shove on the back. Referee doesn't give, and Forest Green need to clear their lines, but it goes into the hands of Eisted, who looks to play it long quickly. It's poor. And can't find Mellor. And Southend go long again, trying to challenge Forest Green defence, and they're doing just that. To the right-hand side of Bioforson, ball into the area, and Forest Green eventually managed to clear it. Referee's not given anything yet, despite the players falling to the floor. Surely it should have been a free kick as players were given against Southend. It's one of those, you just saw the keeper fly everywhere, the defenders as well, and the referee gave nothing.
It was just an absolute mess in the box, wasn't it? Apaya Forson did the right thing, didn't he? He played the ball across the box early, which caused Forest Green problems. I think Ahmed did well on the recovery first, but then the ball was bouncing all over the place with bodies flying around everywhere as well. But the most important thing is that it was scrambled away.
Innes clips the ball looking for Mendy. He gets shoved off the ball. It's fairly, says the referee. And Southend get the ball back, and it's 3-on-3 as they storm forward. It's opened up for them, goes into the penalty area, takes a touch, and the throw goes down. The referee gives nothing, despite the calls of the free kick. Forrest can give the ball away. A shot goes in and just goes wide. And Southend almost didn't care about the penalty shot after that shot, but certainly a big call then as tackles are flying in.
Yeah, they've got the momentum now, Southend, haven't they? They're really going forwards, and I'm surprised that a foul wasn't given, to be honest, on the initial one where they stormed forwards, but the danger still wasn't cleared, was it? It fell to Apaya Forson, who shot just over. But yeah, Southend again have started this second half a lot like they started the first, on top.
Mendy with the header. I'm not sure who the player was who brought down the Southend player. Southend again going forward. Look at they've got advantages everywhere. Now they go down the left-hand side. Forest Green haven't started better in the second half, I tell you, as they defending in numbers again. Clark sees the ball off for a throw despite trying to keep the ball on. Southend really should be more than 1-0 up here. Forest Green looking to the bench.
I think the thing you think, Billy, is when you're 1-0 down, losing the game, you think, oh well, the obvious thing is to get Jose Marquez on, but they're not getting the ball forwards enough, are they, for it to if Jose came on, you feel like it wouldn't really make an impact because there's issues sort of around the pitch.
Southend ball in the area. Woker got half cleared it, but Southend get the ball back, and again tackles come flying in, but Forest can come away with it. Ahmed plays the ball forward, looking for Damani Mellor on the halfway line to Biabu. Crossfield ball to McAllister. Good breaks from Forest Green. McAllister at the edge of the area. Mellor's in there as well. Still McAllister. Let's get a shot away. Goes past one. Plays it across goal, and the keeper saves it off for a corner. Good save, you have to say, but probably one of the best chances of the game for Forest Green.
Yeah, excellent sweeping move there from Forest Green, front to back, really quick.
They take the corner quickly and short, and it's all fizzled out to nothing. Mendy brings the ball down well, opens up for him, 45 yards out, has a shot and goes towards the keeper, who has to power it out wide. Enough time to see on the end of that. Audacious shot from Mendy. I was surprised that the keeper was troubled that much.
Yeah, absolutely. But you just want a player following up, don't you? For play to Scott Morris, who sweeps it up, but Jilly Boyabu was just not on his toes, was he?
Again, Mendy's given space, finds Noel in the box, has a turn, falls to the floor. Referee's not going to give that after the previous calls he's had against him. And Southend clear. Suddenly Forest Green looking to go on top, but Southend go forward and quickly make amends for that. They've got chances now with the Pie Forcer in the middle. Clark wins the ball fairly, as does Carnu. Tackles flying in, and you've got to say, both clinical and perfectly done.
Yeah, well played, both of them, especially Jaden Clark, who, interesting to see him come on in that number 6 position, just based on how he played in that role against Yate the other night, but really showing his worth in that position there to get back and make a perfectly timed challenge.
Innes wants options. Mendy finds in front of him, needs a man on shout, goes forward, crosses the halfway line, gets dispossessed with as well to recover and get the ball back, finds Ahmed on the right, falls back into his own half to Clark. Southend had just had a bit of a switch, just gone defensively. Forest Green having a couple of minutes on top. Clark on the halfway line, they're still 1-0 down there, Forest Green. Woku finds Clark to be Arbor on the left. It needs options. Woku's the one in front of him. Bids the middle of Clark. Suddenly Forest Green playing pretty decent football. They're going, I guess Southend will say they're not going anywhere, but Forest Green just gaining confidence whilst having the ball at their feet. Carney on the halfway line. No Pemberton just yet. McAllister 40 yards out to the right to Ahmed. Sees his options, runs to a bit of traffic and gets dispossessed far too cheaply, and Forest Green on the back foot now as Southend look to go forward on the break. McAllister half putting a challenge in, fully doing so, and well done from Carl McAllister, tracking back and again winning the ball cleanly. Wouldn't be surprised with Ahmed's the number to be shown in a minute for Pemberton. Biarba on the left hand side, can't get past Scott Morris. He goes back to his keeper.
You can just see that number flash up in front of us now, Billy. It looks like it will be Ahmed that makes way for Trey Pemberton in a couple of moments' time.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised actually. Mendy showing too much of the ball again. He's being heavily pressurised, isn't Mendy? 2 men on him. He gets dispossessed. Why did Danny on the ball so long? He gives away a free kick there, does Mendy, and no surprise there as his shorts are falling halfway down him as well. Doesn't need to do that, does he, Mendy?
It's all his own doing, I'm afraid. As I've said already, he's excellent on the ball, really gets himself out of tight situations, but just a few times today, just overplaying, dilly-dallying, too much time on the ball, and when he loses it, he's then having to make up for his own mistake and ends up giving a foul away.
This is poor from Forest Green. It's just disappointing after they had a glimmer of being on top. Trey Pemberton coming on. Are they going to make the sub now? Surely they are going to. The fourth official's ready, but the referee's too busy talking to Lauren Mendy. Has he talked himself into the book? Not just yet. Referee giving a long talking to us. Keep your mouth shut. Lauren Mendy doesn't get the card given against him. Just a long talking to. And allows Forest Green eventually to make the change. Trey Pemberton coming on. Placed by Ashkar Ahmed, who's at times looks okay down the wing, but at times also looking pretty vulnerable defensively.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think going forward he's shown some good bits, hasn't he? He's shown a willingness to get forward as well, but it's been a difficult day for him defensively. I think Southend have had some joy down that side in both halves, but a young player, he's still learning, isn't he? Still developing, and I think Trey Pemberton, based on his performances earlier in the season, a deputy who can come and fill in here.
Free kick for Southend, not shootable, but chance to put the ball into the air. And Forest going to be the best defending set pieces today. Ball goes into the box, is swerving. Mendy wins the first header. Shot goes wide from the follow-up. James Morton with it. A goal at Shrewsbury, Laurie.
There is, Billy. You'll have to just bear with me while we see who it is.
I can tell you that Cheltenham Town are leading by a goal to nil against Shrewsbury. Commentary on that on DAB Digital Radio. I think they might have got the golden goal minute as well in Cheltenham.
Also some National League goals as well. York are 2-0 up at Aldershot. Halifax Boreham Wood is now 2-2, and Carlisle are 1-0 up at Tamworth.
65 minutes gone here at Roots Hall on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Southend 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. Seems like a while ago since Golding got that goal after the 3rd minute. Forest Green just thankful they're still in this as McAllister goes over the top looking for Damani Mellor down the right hand side, holds the ball up well. Pemberton gets a touch, which sees the ball go off for a throw to Southend. Barney Mellor, he hasn't had the service, but you've just seen, I know you weren't there last week to see his debut. He has got the work rate and the ability. He holds the ball up well.
Yeah, 100%. I think you can see that. He wins a lot, doesn't he? But what he doesn't win, he will still chase. And I think fans can get behind that as well. He's his work rate, Forest Green can defend from the front with him up there, and with an engine like he's got, he should last the 90 as well.
Just what do they do if they still chasing the games? Jose Marquez is the only striking option. No Temi Babalola, travelled but not in the matchday squad. Sometimes you'd just want to put on a big man to chase a game. Well, Ryan Innes can play up front, doesn't he? You've seen that at times. He's got to defend though, because the ball's played over the top. Looking for Dallas, who's got Scott Morris on the far post if he can find him. Someone needs to watch Scott Morris, but he's been forced back. Fair play to Biabu. That gives away a free kick eventually, but he saw the initial danger away.
Yeah, I think he's done well. A foul in that position is probably a fine scenario in that situation, isn't it? Because the ball was on, wasn't it, for Scott Morris, but Jidi Boyabu just was harrying so that the ball couldn't be played across. Still a free kick in a fairly dangerous area for Southend.
It is, yeah, and Forest Green are looking vulnerable from these set pieces, but he looked to do the lion's share of the work, Biabu, stopping the ball in and forcing them away from the penalty area. But they are going to get this free kick, and if the ball's played to Scott Morris, there's no one anywhere near him. Free kick to Southend on their left-hand side. One-man wall of Forest Greens, played over towards the near post. I said watches it. Clark gets the first header. Knowles might mop up. Takes a touch though, Knowles, and gets dispossessed. He should have just cleared. This ball's played into the box. Southend get the ball back from the rebound. Knowles makes no mistake this time and clears. And I know you'd rather try and dribble out from the back, but at times he's got to hoof it away.
Especially the pressure that Forest Green have been under in the game as well.
He didn't do that Knowles first time. He tried to win the ball back against Taylor, turn the ball around him. Southend go back to the keeper. Goes long. Innes with an important header as Clark plays it back to Pemberton. Goes long. No one even challenging at Forest Green. Clark gets the ball back, controls it. Okay with the first touch, but he needed a man on shot there. He didn't have the time he thought, and Innes clears again, looking for Mellor. Gets out jumped, and it's just... Again, suddenly it's all Southend. Forest Green can't put a few touches together. Dallas on the left, puts the ball in towards the far post. No one there. They wanted Scott Morris there, but he was a bit further away. It goes off for a goal kick, and more warning shots to come in.
Every duel, isn't it? Every duel in that passage of play won by Southend, middle of the pitch. First the ball's in midfield, and then they can break from that situation. And yeah, that's obviously they brought on Jaden Clark, who I think has actually done pretty well in that role, hasn't he? He's won a couple of things earlier in the half, but again, Southend, when they win the ball in midfield, they can then create opportunities from that moment.
Scott Morris stays strong and doesn't allow Knowles to get near the ball. Goes off for a throw-in to Southend. The Forest Green's got to be lucky that they're only 1-0 down. Again, they're still, in terms of scoreline, well and truly in it.
Just be interesting to see what Southend do, isn't it? Because I think from our point of view, we've said that the game is there for Southend to go and score some more, but no doubt that they will get nervy because they haven't won too many games here lately.
Yeah, it would be one of those. I was just thinking, just when you don't take your chances, and Forest Green can throw the kitchen sink forward, can't they? If need be. Mendy almost gave the ball away again. Clark mops up. Yeah, if it's still 1-0 with 5-10 minutes to go, then Forest can keep going. Knowles back to the Roku, didn't want it there, had to go further back into his own half. Clark back to Carnu, to Innes to Carnu, just playing along the back. Southend with men behind the ball. Carnu finds Woku's created an option, clips the ball forward, looking for Biabu. That's overhit and goes off for a goal kick. And good work from Southend. They just kept their shape, and Forest Green could go absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, it was an ambitious ball, wasn't it, to try and free Jilly Boyabu down the left. You see Jaden Clark just speaking to Chibi Nwoko there, just saying, just keep it simple in the middle of the pitch. Let's have a spell. Forest Green not in a situation where they need to go, playing ambitious 30-yard balls at the minute. Just need a spell, just need to get on the ball and grow into this again.
Home crowd trying to get behind the team. 8,500 of them. It hasn't been a real huge atmosphere, I have to say. It's more the community day, so lots of kids here as the keeper slips as he plays the goal kick. It's still a good one though. I think they're just content, aren't they? Well, maybe you say nervous. It could be. It's only 1-0 to Southend at the moment. Pemberton lets the ball bounce. He looks nervy on the ball, and Southend immediately get onto it and play it down the left-hand side. Through to Boys. Pemberton sees it off for a throw Southend's way. Simple stuff there, isn't it? Pemberton just gifted possession back. Chance for another long throw into the box, I think it might be. Horton's getting his kit on, ready to come on, as is Marquez in front of us. As is that Gabe Kirkhoff as
going all out.
Southend down the left-hand side, won himself a corner. They're 7th and first in the second half. And the 6th in the first. Yeah, interesting for Kirkhoff, who that could be for.
Could that be for Innes? For obviously did 70 the other night. Would it make sense to do another 70, 75 here, or it could be a change in shape, possibly?
3 at the back, maybe. We'll find out shortly. But Forest Green got to defend a corner. If they score from this Southend, you think it would be probably it for Forest Green. Played into the 6-yard box. Innes wins the first header. As this ball's played wide from Southend towards the far post, and Scott Morris is there to make it 2. Second phase into the box, not picked up, tapped home from a few feet out, and it's Southend 2, Forest Green 0.
Completely deserved from a Southend point of view. They've been the better team throughout. It should have been 2 before now, but now it is with about 20 minutes to play. But a really poor goal to concede, because the warning signs haven't not been there. Gus Scott Morris is sort of been around that back post a number of times in this game, but he hasn't been picked up, and the ball was on the money towards the back post, but they were just queuing up at the back post there, and Gus Scott Morris finishes past Harry Eisted, but disappointing, especially with Forest Green making this triple change now, because clearly they had plans to get back into this, which they still do, but it's a mountain to climb now at 2-0 down.
Yeah, they're going to make the changes before going 2-0 down. Again from set piece from Scott Morris. You know he's lurking on the far post, so he's always there. Keep an eye on him. And as well played from Southend. Innes got the first header. Got reslugger back to the corner taker, put it in, Scott Morris is there. And there was a plethora of Southend players who could have tapped home. It wasn't just Scott Morris. Forest Green making the changes. You're right, Ryan Innes does come off for Kirkhoff. So we know that the 3 players coming on are Horton, Kirkhoff and Marquez. Off has come Woku and Innes, and Marquez replacing, as the 4th official hasn't shown his board just yet. There's also changes for Southend as well. Sam Austin to come on, replacing Ollie Coker. Who did Marquez replace then, Laurie? You don't know either.
Just trying to work out who's not out there, Billy.
We'll wait for the confirmation shortly. But also Southend, they made their first change actually now. Sam Austin coming on. They've been Forest Green making 5, Southend with 1. There's still 73 minutes to go. Forest Green might get a goal back.
So if I'm not mistaken, it's Ryan Innes, Tom Knowles and Chibi and Woku who have been replaced.
Yeah, look, we've said that Forest Green were in it in terms of scoreline. If it was only 1-0, it's 2, but they just don't like scoring 1, let alone 2.
Just think the manner of the goal there is just so disappointing from a Forest Green point of view. Just looking to cling on, and they've clung on in moments here today where they, had some real scares. Clearing efforts off the line, hitting the post. But to concede from that situation where the warning signs have been there all game, with Scott Morris popping up at the back post, just really poor from a Forest Green point of view. Be interested to see how these next 15 minutes play out now. Obviously, look, it would take a minor miracle now, wouldn't it, to get anything from here?
Yeah, it's Savage, what's the score? The Southend fans saying Scott Morris had a little kick out there as Jimmy Biabu.
Yeah, had a little nibble, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's on a yellow card. Don't want to do that. Kirkhoff plays it back to Eisted, who goes long. If Forest can get a goal back, then it could be game on. But the second isn't a surprise for Southend. And it might be the third as Forest can let the ball bounce and Kirkhoff half clears, but it goes to Southend again. The player Forson on the right hand side, just waiting for Scott Morris to appear, and Biabu goes past him. The referee Gives the free kick against Scott Morris. BR taken down. Surely he can't do that too many times on a yellow card. He knew exactly what he was doing then, taking down Chidi Biabu.
And I think he knew what he was doing 60 seconds before, when there wasn't a lot in it, but he just had like a little kick out at Biabu's heels, and they've had a running battle all game, haven't they? Which probably goes back to the game at the New Lawn from many months ago.
Yeah, and Forest Green won that. Southend look like they're winning this one here. Forest Green are playing poorly. It looked like they'd recovered from their dip. The victories against Gateshead and at home to Aldershot. And again, they travel to a playoff contender and haven't come away with anything. And you have to say, as McAllister wins over free kick on the halfway line, we were saying they've come away with nothing previously but played okay, and they haven't played okay today.
No, and obviously Forest Green have to get in the playoffs first, but you don't want to go into the playoffs where the away record against the teams that they're going to be coming up against is very poor.
Especially when it's not two-legged either.
Exactly.
It's not like you can just get a result and take them back to the New Lawn. You've got to go. It's one-legged and you've got to go and try and get the win. By the way, Cheltenham Town are 2-0 up at Shrewsbury. So they're leading by 2-0. Forest Green trailing by 2. Mendy has space at the edge of the area. Finds Clark. Diaby's busy on the left, who he finds. Going to get past Scott Morris. He's staying strong. Diaby in the box now. A few step overs. Falls back out to Horton. Gives the ball away. And Clark gets the ball back but can't find Horton. Won himself a throw. He hasn't. Not linking up well there as the player goes down. And Jilibiabu and Scott Morris again coming together. Scott Morris saying there's something in that, and they've been really at it. Scott Morris saying there's an elbow. Biabu saying he's kicked out earlier, which he was right, we saw that. And in truthfulness, Scott Morris shouldn't be on the pitch. I think he should have got a second yellow card.
Yeah, it's no surprise it's them two, is it, at all, that they've been going at it all game. They're pantomime villains for either side, aren't they? But yeah, Scott Morris definitely claiming an elbow there, wasn't he? But Jilly Biabu's got a point that I think it was just in front of us 3 minutes ago that Scott Morris had a little kick out at his heels. But I mean, both could just do with leaving it, really, but I don't think they will.
Scott Morris on the yellow and Biabu's not. So Forest Green, as it stands, on 65 points. I don't think they're going to be getting any more than that today on 38 games. Southend played 35. There's a player down for Southend, which means both teams can take on some fluids and eat down some more of the time. This is a timeout injury, I think. So Forest Green are now 8 points behind Halifax, who are in 8th position, and 7 points behind Southend. And Southend win their games in hand. They overtake Forest Green. So Forest Green in 5th, Boreham Wood above them on 72 points. Now I guess there's a chance whilst both teams take on some water, whilst a player allegedly needs some treatment for Southend, to go through all the scores in the National League.
Yeah, earlier on today it was Wealdstone 5, Solihull Moors 1 in the early kick-off. Into the 3 o'clocks, York are 2-0 up at Aldershot, Boston are 2-1 up against Yeovil. 4 goals in a very short space of time has seen Woking go 4-0 up against Brackley. Halifax Boreham Wood is 2-2. Gateshead are beating Sutton United 1-0. Tamworth and Carlisle is 1-1, and Hartlepool are 1-0 up at Truro. A few late kick-offs today in the National League. Eastleigh against Rochdale, Morecambe against Braintree, and Scunthorpe against Altrincham are all 5:30.
Yeah, there's a fair few of them. Moving on the bench for Southend, Walker and Goodliff coming on. And to remind on the rugby, it's Ireland 43, Scotland 21. Ireland winning the Triple Crown there, keeping their hopes alive for the potentially winning the Six Nations, of course, which concludes at 8:10 tonight. He's coming off is James Golding, the opening goal scorer. After only 3 minutes, it all started to go wrong for Forest Green. And sometimes, Laurie, it gets a bit exciting towards the end of the game. This result feels inevitable.
It does. There's always that glimmer of hope, isn't there, at 1-0. I think even though, purely based on performance levels, Southend always look the very, very likely winners here. There's still hope at 1-0. I think the second goal has just completely killed that off, hasn't it? Forest Green haven't shown enough going forward today, and they've been too fragile at the back. And yeah, it just feels like it's just going to sort of whimper out into a scoreline here, doesn't it, of 2-0 to Southend?
It does, yeah. As Kana gives away a free kick, and there's still 10 minutes of normal time to go. So what about 15 minutes of the football? Forest Green don't look like they're going to get 2 goals. They host Wealdstone on Saturday, and next Saturday, who won a great run for themselves. Of course, already won at the New Lawn and in the FA Trophy earlier on this season. Southend play the ball long. You've got Marquez and Dimani Miller on the pitch. Neither have had a doctor of a chance yet. Forest Green can't clear out their final third at the moment. Pemberton has won himself a throw. And, I just think you need maybe another. No Christian Doige today because he's expecting his first child. But maybe just, I know players get better when you're losing and they're not involved, but they're just chucking on Penny Babalola. Forrest can give the ball away again. McAllister looks to pick up an injury, which makes things bad from worse, as Kirkroft plays back to Eisted to go long. McAllister's not been able to continue this game. He got the ball but didn't want that. Forrest could have made 5 subs, by the way, and he won't be able to be replaced. And I think McAllister's going to have to come off, and Forrest might have to finish with 10. He's hobbling around. You don't want to make things any worse, but he's certainly struggling, isn't he, McAllister?
Yeah, moving gingerly, isn't he? Still, looking for the ball. He's still giving it his all, isn't he? Looking to get on the ball, but yeah, he's not moving particularly well. And ideally, you'd want a spare sub here, wouldn't you? Just to get him off and wrap him up in cotton wool.
Oh, Carter gives the ball away awfully, and Apia Forson trots with it down the right-hand side instead of driving towards goal. Finds Scott Morris in the middle. And that's just nothing there. Any reason McCartney to get the ball away. Marquez working the ball back well there for Forest Green. Finds Clark on the halfway line, runs to the traffic, gets challenged fairly, says the referee, and Austin even looked guilty towards the referee when he come away with possession. Plays into the box, well blocked and well read by Trey Pemberton. And McAllister, who looks to have run off whatever niggle he has. The play's not stopped since he picked up that knock. Sinderford have lost in the rugby at Red Ruth. And the ball goes over the top, and the keeper takes all his time to pick the ball up. What positives are there today? Ryan Innes playing for 70 minutes, but he wasn't 100% on it. He got more into the game.
Yeah, it's a start, isn't it? That he's got some minutes under his belt today, and hopefully that can be, a start of a run of minutes for Ryan Innes from now until the end of the season. And then I suppose you're just looking for a bit of a cameo now from Jose Marquez, aren't you? In these remaining 8 minutes plus stoppage time, you're hoping that he can put in a shift and put himself in Robbie Savage's thoughts again for those final 7 or 8 fixtures.
McAllister plays the ball up, looking for Marquez, who doesn't win the 50-50 challenge. And Southend come away with it again down the left hand side. It's only 2-0 to Southend. I say only, it feels like more, doesn't it? It's Forest Green, just hardly any chances. What they had in the second half, there was actually Mendy with the long range effort which forced save from the keeper, and that's about it.
Yeah, 2-0 doesn't exactly flatter Southend, does it? But it's been about as 2-0 game as there could possibly be. They've just been really, really comfy, haven't they, from minute 1 until minute 83 that we're in now.
BRB on the ball. Forest Green needs to keep going, give it one more go. They get one goal and it could be interesting. BRB at the edge of the area, goes past one challenge and tried to find Horton and got dispossessed. It's well read from Southend. Again, did nothing with that. He had the ball at the edge of the box and played it back to Horton, and it was just easily picked up and intercepted from Southend. They've got to go forward though, Forest Green. They need to. We might sound like we're giving up, but Forest Green definitely can't, can't they? Because they need to try and get that a goal back.
Yeah, just not falling for Forest Green in attacking areas, have they? The Jose Marquez with a nice little layoff there with his chest to Jili Boyabu, but again, no shot able to get away. And yeah, as I say, it's just been a really 2-0 sort of game, hasn't it? Just Southend start to finish very, very, very comfortable in this one.
BRB back here to Kirkhoff, and again BRB gets fouled. This time it's Hopper, and I think if that was Scott Morris then they'd probably try and call for something else, but they're taking turns in fouling BRB.
Yeah, Scott Morris giving a round of applause there to Tom
McAllister, edge of the box, plays it towards the edge of the area, and the shot goes in from Horton. That's a late high one. He went for the ball, but it was a bit high and he took down the Southend player. Nothing malicious about that from Horton. 8,702 the attendance, with 178 fans from Forest Green. Firstly, a great
attendance here from Southend. Just shy of 9,000 fans from Southend. And there's an ironic cheer for the Forest Green fans, 178 of them. I'm not sure that was a friendly or a mean cheer, Laurie, for that. I think it's mean if you can, because the subsequent chants. Apologies, you can hear that.
Yeah, Forest Green fans taking it in good spirits, though.
178 is not bad. I have to say, it's a long way around the N25, especially to watch this. Southend play it long from the free kick from Horton. Marquez challenging, gives away a free kick. And he's won the ball back well earlier on, but a cheap free kick from Marquez to give away. And Southend just eking down the clock. And again, the urgency is just not there. It's not, Southend don't need to manage the game, do they? They just need to just keep playing football, and it's almost a dull finish.
Yeah, like you said, I think that's a really good way of putting it. Almost sort of encapsulated by the atmosphere. Obviously, a really good crowd here of nearly 9,000. But like you say, it's not been a cauldron. Maybe that's because Southend have been comfortable in the game, but even now there's not much atmosphere in the ground, and it feels like both sets of fans kind of know how this one is going to finish.
Yeah, I think that feels almost inevitable. Boys with the ball into the box. Southend win the first header. Forest Green need to get the ball away, and Devani Miller, the player to do so, finds Trey Pemberton, who goes long, looking for Horton. It goes all the way back to the keeper. Horton chasing him down and just nipped away from him at the last minute to find Boys. And Southend drawing in a bit of a press. Carl McAllister, you can certainly tell he's got better. I thought he was going to go off earlier, but he's still chasing down the loose balls. Kirkhoff goes back to Eisted. Plays the Carney down the left. Forest will need a goal in the next minute or two to get something from this game. A couple of changes coming on for Southend shortly. Spazov and Moane to come on. Clark found in his own half. It's slow, this play. To Carney on the left. To Clark. Listen to Robbie Savage's reaction here on Steve Kitchen's match day. It'll be before 6 o'clock. I think he'll be frustrated and angry. Trey Pemberton finds Carl McAllister. Back to Pemberton. Ball into the box, can't find Horton. Just need someone up there, don't you? I think I'm not saying Tony Babalola's the answer, but Marquez and Damani Mella haven't linked up perfectly yet, and they're not the biggest of players collectively. If you want to get a hold of Steve Kitchen in the studio, you can do on 81333. Start the message with the word gloss. Standard network rates apply. WhatsApp on 080332133. Start the word message with the word gloss, or tweet at BBC Gloss. For those listening at home, might have had the better option today than travelling to watch Forest Green. Any other goals elsewhere, Laurie?
Yeah, a few late ones. York now 3-0 up against Aldershot. Sutton have scored an equaliser against Gateshead. That is now 1-1. Tamworth 2, Carlisle 1.
Mendy showed too much of the ball, gave the ball away. He's done that a few too many times today, just staying on the ball too long. Kirkhoff had to mop up and put a decent challenge in to stop Southend breaking and going forward. Carl McAllister working hard again. Pemberton found on the right hand side, puts the ball into the box. So Ed Mellor with the header, forced a save from the keeper. Another shot on target, a rare thing, and good build up actually from Forest Green down the right, as Southend get the ball back on the halfway line. Damani Mellor will be disappointed with himself for that, as Carney gives away another free kick. Was it Carney or was it Biabu? Doesn't really matter. It's going to be a free kick for Southend either way, as we're in the last minute of normal time.
Yeah, he's not had a lot, has he, Damani Mellor up there today? It's been a tough gig for him, you know, being made to chase when Forest Green haven't had the ball in too many threatening areas, but he, you know, gets a reward there, a late chance. Good build up down the right hand side. Trey Pemberton's cross into the box was nice, but it's a difficult chance for Mellor because there wasn't too much pace on the ball from Pemberton, but a comfortable enough save, but probably the best chance Forest Green have had, I think, Billy.
Yeah, it's probably the best chance for going down the right. So Trey Pemberton found Mellor well. Forced save from the keeper. And Southend just make a couple of changes. We're approaching the 90th minute now. 178 Forest Green fans still there, but we've said it from many minutes ago. This game's going to just drift it away. Forest Green don't look near getting a goal back, let alone two. I guess it's always the hope if you get one, then Southend might go on the back foot a bit, but the urgency's not been there.
there is a significant goal as well, Billy, in the National League, because Halifax have gone 3-2 up against Boreham Wood. That now puts Halifax 6 points off Forest Green, puts them back into the playoffs. Southend outside. Southend 7 points behind Forest Green, but they do have those 3 games in hand, so it's certainly not a foregone conclusion, is it?
Well, no, and Forest Green aren't good in the form table, and you're right, if Halifax do get that victory, frustration for Southend, but you're right, it's just suddenly, it's not a given. It's Halifax only 6 points behind Forest Green, Southend 7. Well, the way Forest Green are going, that margin could drift away. We're in 7 minutes of time added on, way. I'm surprised that it's that number. Again, I don't think that's going to change much for Forest Green, but get a goal back shortly, you never know. McAllister goes over the top, looking for Damani Mellor. He can't control it with his first touch. Clark gets the ball back, heads it down the line to Pemberton. Pemberton to Clark, controlling the bouncing ball. Yes, on the bench, and then Alton Vins go forward. Horton gets some space, his shot is well charged down. Sometimes you see Ryan Ennis going forward, but he got subbed off after coming back from injury today. Clark, then a ball into the area, it's low, and scramble clear from Southend for Forest Green corner, which Forest Green take quickly. Again, not much urgency, is there?
There's not, no, kind of just, I was going to say jogging, but that would be being kind, wouldn't it? But just sort of walking.
Meandering.
Meandering towards that penalty spot, ready for this corner to come in.
Of which Horton's going to take. Southend every man back, played towards into the area. Referee says retake it because some players fell to the floor. We've had 2 minutes out of 7 already. Forest going to score now to try and get something from this. Just that's playoff. If Halifax come away with 3 points, that is scary for Forest Green. Horton with the corner, cleared by Southend. Mendy with the second header, back to Biabu. Thinks about shooting, it's too congested, and it's the ball away instead. But McAllister might mop up and get the ball back. And McAllister, fair play, playing 92 minutes. He looked like he was going to come off injured earlier, still sprinting away. Might be Forest Green's man of the match today, but it's hard to pick one. Clark to Mellor, head to the area, forced towards the corner flag. Back to Horton, who doesn't run to the ball, and Forest Green gives possession away. So easy for Southend, isn't it? They're deep in their own half. They might have won themselves a throw, which goes Forest Green's way. He needs to take it quickly. McAllister gets it, finds Kirkhoff, back heels it back to McAllister. Forest Green to go forward, they're just doing nothing at the moment. Carney to Pemberton, puts nothing ball into the box, and Southend come away with it and have a chance to break. Poor touch that from Scott Morris, goes off for a Forest Green throw, which Pemberton takes quickly.
They just don't really, I know it's late in the day, there's only 4 minutes of stoppage time left here, and Forest Green up in second best, but they just don't really look, like you say, a bit of a lack of urgency. They don't really look like they believe they're going to get something from this, and obviously it would take a monumental effort to do so, but there does look to be a little bit of a lack of belief, which probably comes down to, you know, just the record at grounds like this, and you know, the top teams in the National League.
They're trading by 2-0. We've got 3.5 minutes of injury time to go. They're not getting anything today, Forest Green. Here from Robbie Savage. I do think Savage was missed on the touchline today, when he could have just tried and driven his players a bit more forward, or just get something out of them, because there's nothing there today really. As Horton plays the ball, looking for Marquez in the box, goes off one challenge, might have won himself a corner, and actually it's clear from Southend. Southend clear up the line. They've even got players forward still, Southend. McAllister gives away a free kick, and that any glimmer of chance Forest Green getting a goal back has drifted away. McAllister gets a yellow card, I think, for that. Carl McAllister. And listen to Robbie Savage's reaction. It'll be an interesting interview, because they've gone back to what they were like a few weeks ago, if not worse, I have to say. I've not remembered a performance like this for a while, or at least there was a bit of fight when they lost at Rochdale and against Carlisle and against York. I know Carlisle, that was poor first half, but they recovered in the second half. There's been nothing here, is there? Even against Boston, they got to go a few goals back and looked a bit more positive. And Southend have the ball on the halfway line, 2 minutes of injury time to go.
It's just a little bit like Southend have known the significance of this game, isn't it? Obviously they're chasing a playoff position now, they're outside of the playoffs, but it's like they've known that they're going to have to come here and put in a real display, and they've been better than Forest Green in pretty much every single department.
Exactly, as Horton can't find Marquez in the middle, and Mendy mops up at the back. Forced wide, goes back to Eisted. And the referee gives a free kick Forest Green way. Mendy flipped off the ball. Can't blame the referee for decisions today either. Forest Green have been poor. Well, from minute one, Southend scored from after the 3rd minute from a corner. They could have scored in the first 30 seconds going down the left-hand side, and Eisted was forced to save at the near post. Kirchhoff to McAllister on the right. Plays the ball looking for Marquez. Gets the ball taken away from him, and Pemberton can't win the second ball. Horton can't get there either. And Southend come on forward. They're so comfortable then. And Southend, as you said, Laurie, Southend are outside the playoffs at the moment. They're not even a playoff team. Forest going to be outplayed against them. They'll be playing, in terms of the table, they've got easier games of Forest Green. But you're concerning how the gap is narrowing. McAllister on the halfway line. Forest Green host Wealdstone on Saturday, Coventry and Beams Radio Gloucestershire at the new lawn. Carnu overhits that ball to Marquez, and it goes off for a goal kick. 30 seconds of injury time to go. As we put out their misery, I think Forest Green for the full-time whistle to go. And Savage will not be a happy man. And it's just heads down from Forest Green. You can tell McAllister, yes, he's put in an effort. Still doesn't look 100% though, looking at him off the ball. As Southend have the goal kick, which probably will be the last kick of the game. No need for a referee to add anything else. As takes the time to go up the field. Referee blows full time here. Southend come away with all 3 points, and Forest Green, have to say, deservedly come away with nothing. Golding after 3 minutes put the home team in front, and Southend could have easily been 2 or 3 up at half time. Again, Forest Green didn't get any better in the second half, and Scott Morris scored the second after another set-piece routine. Wasn't picked up as forward was played in the second phase, and he tapped home. And Forest Green, in truthfulness, Laurie, didn't get anywhere near today, and that was a pretty poor performance.
Yeah, off it in every single department today, unfortunately. And again, sort of just from minute 1 until 90, Southend had a shot within 30 seconds, and you know, they were on top from that moment onwards. I would say not great for Forest Green's playoff credentials today, in terms of they've come away to another team contending for the playoffs and have lost, and that means that they've now played every single team in the sort of top 8 or so away from home, and apart from Halifax, haven't recorded a victory, have they? But Forest Green, it's difficult to not be slightly worried about the look of the table at the moment, Billy. If Halifax do hold on against Boreham Wood, then that gap being just 6 points, and then just 7 points to Southend with all the games in hand they've got, Forest Green are going to have to put some work in to really make sure that they nail down that playoff spot. But hopefully with the fixtures they've got, they should be able to do so.
It's certainly not a given. They were in 7 minutes of time added on at Shrewsbury, where Cheltenham Town are leading by 2 goals to 0. You can listen to that on DAB digital radio. It's having a look at the fans, as obviously Savage can't go there to applaud them, but they're looking a bit despondent then. The fans are applauding the players. There's a few fans there who are looking frustrated. I can understand why, because there just wasn't much fight from the players on the pitch today, and there's a few having a chat with the fans. Respectfully, it seems to be. Is that Carnu, I think, is having a chat with some of the younger fans? But they are frustrated, aren't they, Forest Green fans? And you have to say, well, I don't know whether, I hope there's no untoward language or anything, you can understand why they're not happy.
Yeah, I think just the vast difference in performance levels between the two sides today. I think, like you say, Billy, saying there things like urgency and fight perhaps wasn't there, but just in every single department today seemed to be outplayed, which is not good. And you can understand frustration. Forest Green are still in the driving seat when it comes to the playoffs, but well, exactly. And you have every right to make a noise like that, Billy, because they might not be for too much longer with performances like that. So I think it's important that the players understand, the position they're in, and they need to get out of this, performances like that.
Laurie, thank you very much for joining us here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire this afternoon. Stay with us on Steve Kitching's Match Day. We'll give you Robbie Savage's reaction before 6 o'clock. Disappointing evening here at Roots Hall. Forest Green second best throughout the game. Half-time here, full-time here, Southend 2, Forest Green 0.
Steve Kitchen.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
This is Match Day on BBC Radio Gloucestershire then. Full-time in your commentary matches. A 2-0 win for Cheltenham, a 2-0 defeat for Forest Green Rovers. You can have your say, as always, on the text lines. Text the word GLOSS, GLOS, and your message to 81333 at BBC Gloss on X.
When the business hustle is on, when the boardroom drama hots up, when sales pitches really deliver results, or don't.
All that, and they made £3.
£3.13.
Oh yeah, that'll save them.
Nothing brings us together like great TV. And the TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels plus BBC iPlayer, so you can keep up with all the latest boardroom battles. It also funds everything you love from the BBC, including live radio, like this.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
Good afternoon, this is Match Day.
Match Day.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
The headlines this evening: the Robins' unbeaten run moves on to 7 with a 2-0 win at Shrewsbury Town.
That is well won by Davison. And here's Thomas. Thomas finds a shot. He can, and he scores! Jordan Thomas with a goal out of virtually nothing from the edge of the penalty area. It's a 6th goal of the season for Jordan Thomas, and he fires it into the bottom left-hand corner of Matt Cox's goal. It's a terrific finish, and Cheltenham lead. Shrewsbury 0, Cheltenham 1. Here's the set piece taken in by Luke Young, and there's Valley at the back post. Cheltenham has scored again. Cheltenham has scored again, and it's Sam Sherring at the back post from the corner. Sherring comes in and he places it into exactly the same corner as where Jordan Thomas placed the first, into the bottom left-hand corner. Sam Sherring's second goal for Cheltenham. Shrewsbury 0, Cheltenham Town 2.
Yes, a 2-0 win for the Robins and for Steve Cottrell at his former club of Shrewsbury Town. But for Forest Green Rovers, there's a bit of thinking to do for Robbie Savage after a 2-0 defeat at Southend.
Swinging and dangerous, and it's headed in! It's headed in Southend, exactly where we thought it would be. Went towards the far post, headed in by Golding. Forest Green couldn't hack it away, and after just 2 minutes, they find themselves 1-0 down. Wide from Southend towards the far post, and Scott Morris is there to make it 2. Second phase into the box, not picked up, tapped home, and it's Southend 2, Forest Green 0.
Disappointment for Rovers, disappointment for Gloucester City as well, as they go down by a 0-0 at Berkhamsted in the Southern League Premier South Division. In Division 1 South, there's defeat for Hartbury as they lose 3-1 at Didcot. Sol Kent scoring in the 85th minute for Hartbury. And top of the table, Frome Town hammer Bishop's Cleeve by 4-0 elsewhere in Division 1 South. Whilst there's a defeat for Cinderford 2 in National League 2 West. Brendan Llewellyn, Josh Harrabin and Matty Cotton scoring tries for the Foresters as they lose 31-19 in Cornwall at Red Root. In the Premier League, goalless it finishes between Burnley and Bournemouth, whilst Brighton and Hove Albion beat Sunderland on their travels by a 0-0. Goal scorer in that game was Yakubu Minte. I think the Match of the Day editors will be hoping that there's a bit more action in the evening kickoffs featuring Arsenal against Everton, Chelsea and Newcastle, and West Ham and Manchester City. They're to come a little later on. In the Six Nations, Irish eyes are smiling and their fingers are crossed for an England victory.